the Jade Cave, Lu Qing was focusing all his efforts on breaking through. He aimed to transform the great strength superpower from a small divine power to a great divine power. Back when Lu Qing broke through to the innate realm, being the first person to cross the tribulation after the spiritual energy recovery in this world, he was bestowed 2 divine skills by the Heaven and Earth Tao, namely Great Strength and Mistaken. At the beginning, these 2 divine skills were just the lowest level of small divine powers. However, they were both highly potential divine skills that could grow by enhancing their might and grade through cultivation. However, the essence of comprehending a divine power lies in the understanding of the Great Tao. Yet the Great Tao is obscure, and with a low realm, rash comprehension can easily lead to a backlash from the power of the Tao. The damage from the Great Tao is no joke. Under the backlash of the Great Tao, one could either suffer severe injuries or face the fate of their soul scattering. Therefore, even for Lu Qing, he dared not attempt it until he achieved the primordial spirit realm. During the past year or so, Lu Qing had been contemplating under the activation of his superpower on the great strength. Finally, under such accumulation, he grasped the opportunity for a breakthrough. Accompanying Lu Qing's surge, his primordial spirit operated at full force, perceiving the omnipresent Taoist law. In his perception, there was an ocean of laws in the void. Within this complex sea of laws, thousands of unfathomable great Tao rivers traversed it, their origins unknown and destinations uncertain. The myriad laws in the sea of laws were derived from these thousands of great Tao rivers. Lu Qing knew that those thousands of great Tao rivers were the legendary 3,000 great Taos. The so-called 3,000 great Taos. Each Tao has countless branched laws beneath it. The great strength superpower that Lu Qing cultivated is a small divine power under a branch of the Power Tao. Its ability, once unleashed, could greatly enhance the power of his physical body, causing an instant surge in both strength and defense. It is an extremely practical physical body divine power. However, upon stepping into the primordial spirit realm and achieving the true witch lineage, condensing the true witch body and reaching another level of power, the small divine power level great strength no longer significantly amplified the power of his physical body. This time, Lu Qing precisely accumulated enough insight from the Power Tao. Only then, under such thick accumulation, did he seize that sliver of inspiration, turning insights into nourishment to elevate the grade of his divine power. Under the impact of Lu Qing's surge, constant insights leveraged the law. The sea of laws in the void suddenly stirred. Under a certain branch law of the Power Tao, there was a sudden tremor, and a trace of power of laws descended, infusing into the divine power seed representing great strength within Lu Qing's body. Instantly, Lu Qing felt an unimaginable metamorphosis occurring in that divine power seed. As the metamorphosis began, more fluctuations of power of laws belonging to the branches under the Power Tao surged into the divine power seed, aiding its transformation. After a long while, when the stirrings in the sea of laws quieted, the divine power seed within Lu Qing's body finally completed its metamorphosis. Lu Qing sensed the divine power seed, and a stream of information flowed in his mind, finally transformed into a great divine power. Lu Qing sighed with emotion. A year may seem short, but in the state of activating his superpower, it was equivalent to being in a near sudden enlightenment uninterrupted. This means he essentially experienced a full year's enlightenment to elevate great strength, from a small divine power to a great divine power. It's conceivable how difficult it is to elevate the grade of a divine power. For other primordial spirit realm cultivators, even with a divine power cultivation method, it would likely take hundreds or thousands of years to make any progress. After expressing his amazement for a moment, Lu Qing calmed his mind and suddenly transformed into a stream of light, flying out of the cave. After exiting the valley, he continued to fly deep into the core of the 10,000 Great Mountains. Upon reaching the deepest core of the 10,000 Great Mountains, he halted, standing in midair at a high altitude. The next moment, Lu Qing connected his heart and spirit with the divine power seed within him and cast the great strength, divine power. An immensely powerful divine power descended upon Lu Qing. He immediately felt his physical body's power surge. already incredibly mighty. His body grew even stronger to an unimaginable degree. Merely by standing in midair, his terrifying physical power naturally twisted the force field, causing the space to tremble and seemingly collapse at any moment. But that wasn't all. With a single thought, Lu Qing's body suddenly expanded. With a breath, a gigantic figure 100 zhang tall appeared in the sky. He had already manifested the true witch body. Once the true witch body emerged, Lu Qing's already terrifying physical strength reached an even more unbelievable level. The surrounding space could no longer withstand the frightful force field induced by his body and began distorting and collapsing. One after another, spatial cracks started appearing around Lu Qing, appearing and disappearing as if the entire space would shatter at any moment. As expected of the great divine power, able to massively boost my physical strength once more, on the foundation of manifesting the true witch body. Lu Qing revealed a look of delight. He gently clenched his fist. With a light sound, the surrounding space instantly collapsed and shattered from his fist as the center, forming a massive black hole over 10 zhang in radius. With my current power, if the White Ape King were to be resurrected, using no magical treasure, with just my bare fists, I fear I could blast him apart in an instant. Lu Qing estimated his own strength and felt very satisfied. His previous choice was not wrong. Achieving great divine power was the most obvious enhancement to his power. He was confident that with his current strength, even if he returned to the situation where he was besieged by the White Ape King and others, he was also confident that he could utterly defeat those 8-5 tribulation primordial spirit great powers. Even that so-called 10 directions pillar array wouldn't be able to suppress him. More importantly, currently, he had only just mastered great divine power. As he continues to cultivate in the future and further masters the great strength divine skill, reaching the levels of small success, great success, or even perfection, the enhancement to his power of the physical body would reach an even more exaggerated level under the increase in might. Of course, the power of divine skills also requires a sufficiently strong body to bear it. To fully unleash the might of a perfected level great divine power, Lu Qing would also need to cultivate his realm to a very high level. But no matter what, it can be assured that, with Lu Qing's continual cultivation, each breakthrough in his realm in the future would inevitably result in growth that is beyond others' imagination. After carefully sensing once again, Lu Qing looked at the constantly appearing and disappearing space cracks around him, finally retracting his true witch body and stopping the operation of his divine skills. Although he very much wanted to feel how strong he was after the breakthrough, it was clear that the space in his hometown world couldn't withstand his messing around. If he wasn't careful and lost control and the power leaked out, this 10,000 great mountains might be half destroyed by him, resulting in the suffering of living creatures. At this moment, Lu Qing recalled the legacy he obtained from the giant claw mark and the sword mark in a sky gap outside Azure Dragon City. In that legacy illusion realm, he saw the sparring between Patian Taoist and son of ancestor dragon Swan and I. With every move, they could easily cause heaven and earth to tremble, space to shatter, leaving him amazed and deeply shocked. And now, unknowingly, he could do the same, even surpassing it in some aspects. This was something Lu Qing had never expected back then. I wonder if Patian Taoist and Swan and I are still alive. Unfortunately, even if they are, after 10,000 years they must have grown to an even higher realm. Otherwise, I really want to spar with them to see who is stronger between us now. A thought flashed in Lu Qing's mind. But very quickly he felt amused by this thought of his. With their talent, if they were still alive after such a long time, they might have long entered a realm above the primordial spirit. To compare with them, Lu Qing reckoned he would have to cultivate for a long time to possibly stand a chance. After feeling emotional for a while, Lu Qing restrained his aura and flew towards the village. This time in seclusion he gained significantly. The breakthrough in divine skills caused his power to soar. This also made him look forward to the breakthrough of Mistaken. He wondered what changes would occur when he also broke through Mistaken from small divine power to great divine power. Lu Qing turned into a stream of light and flew all the way towards the village. Suddenly, his heart and spirit moved, His figure stopped, and he looked ahead. Soon he saw a sword light rapidly flying towards this direction. Why is Master here? Just as Lu Qing was surprised, the sword light also spotted him and accelerated to appear in front of him, revealing a figure. It was none other than the elder doctor. Ah Qing, did you also sense that terrifying aura of ferocity and rush over? What exactly is that thing? Just as the elder doctor stopped, he immediately asked, his face full of solemnity. He was originally in seclusion, comprehending those sword Dao techniques Lu Qing gave him previously. Suddenly, he felt an extremely terrifying aura of ferocity emanating from the depths of the 10,000 great mountains, causing his heart to tremble. He originally wanted to notify Lu Qing, but unexpectedly he couldn't sense Lu Qing's aura in the village. In a hurry, he planned to come over and check the situation. Aura of ferocity? Lu Qing was initially stunned. Then, as if he recalled something, a strange expression appeared on his face. Yes, just now when I was in seclusion, I suddenly felt an extremely terrifying aura of ferocity coming from the 10,000 great mountains, not knowing which peerless devil appeared. You just came from that side. Could it be you have already solved that devil? The elder doctor asked solemnly. Master, the aura you sensed might be mine. Lu Qing replied somewhat embarrassed. What did you say? That's your aura? The elder doctor's expression froze. It's like this, Master. Just now my seclusion was successful. I mastered a divine skill, so I went to the depths of the 10,000 great mountains to try it out. I originally thought not to disturb your cultivation, so I went in, not expecting to still disturb you. Lu Qing understood that his previous excitement from the divine skill breakthrough caused him to lose control of his aura, which was sensed by his master. So it was your aura. Ah Qing, lucky. I thought some peerless devil appeared. If that were the case, it would have been quite troublesome. Seeing that Lu Qing was not joking, only then did the elder doctor heave a sigh of relief. There was no choice. The aura he sensed earlier was too terrifying. Even more terrifying than the monster that once attacked the holy mountain. Even the aura Lu Qing displayed when suppressing that monster back then was inferior. Now hearing that it was Lu Qing testing his divine skill, he was relieved. However, after being relieved, the elder doctor couldn't help but feel another wave of emotion. The abilities of his disciple truly became increasingly profound and unfathomable. He wondered what that divine skill was. Just testing it could cause such a huge commotion. It was the disciple's oversight, disturbing Master's cultivation. Lu Qing remarked quickly. It's just a small matter. The elder doctor waved his hand. It's fine as long as you're okay. Let's head back. Just now that commotion. Little Yen and the others might have sensed something. To prevent them from worrying, we must inform them. The master and disciple immediately flew towards the village together. However, on the way back they didn't rush. Instead, they maintained a normal speed, chatting while flying. Soon, they returned to the village and found little Yen and the others waiting anxiously at the half-mountain small courtyard. Upon seeing Lu Qing and the elder doctor return together, the expressions of little Yen and Han Lingshuang relaxed. In contrast, little Li seemed calm, as if he had already guessed what was going on. Brother! Little Yen immediately ran up to him. It's nothing. That was just me cultivating a divine skill just now, accidentally disturbing you all. Lu Qing explained briefly. I told you it was Ah Qing's aura earlier, but you just wouldn't believe it. Little Li said somewhat helplessly. As the spiritual beast accompanying Lu Qing the longest, little Li was most aware that the aura earlier was indeed Lu Qing when he used Witch Clan's cultivation techniques. How could we have known that brother's aura would change like that? All right, I'll believe you from now on. Little Yen hugged little Li, trying to appease it. Seeing it was a misunderstanding, everyone's mood naturally relaxed. Seeing that it was rare for everyone to come out of seclusion and be gathered, the elder doctor decided to take out some plum tea to brew, inviting everyone to have tea together. I haven't had it for years. This plum tea tastes better than ever. Lu Qing praised after drinking a cup. After the plum tree in the courtyard transformed into a spirit tree, the plum tea it produced tasted even better. If you want to drink more, I have accumulated quite a bit of plum tea over the years, except giving some to Ji Rue, the rest haven't been touched. I'll get it for you later, the elder doctor chuckled. No, no, master, you enjoy drinking tea. I don't really know how to appreciate it. Giving it to me would be like gold to a donkey squandering something precious. Lu Qing hurriedly replied. You, now a primordial spirit, great power, yet still like this, the elder doctor said helplessly. After chatting for a while, a strange expression suddenly appeared on the elder doctor's face. After hesitating for a moment, as if he made up his mind, he asked, Ah Qing, have you recently felt a peculiar disturbance between heaven and earth? Strange fluctuations? Upon hearing his master's words, Lu Qing was initially taken aback, but soon realized what was happening and found it somewhat unbelievable. Could it be that master? He didn't reply immediately, but instead asked, Master, what kind of strange fluctuations did you sense? I'm not sure how to describe it exactly. After organizing his thoughts, the elder doctor said, When you returned back then, didn't you give me some secret cultivation techniques? Over the past year or so, I've been organizing and contemplating these secret techniques, integrating them into my own cultivation path. Just a few days ago, I had some insights, and my domain underwent some changes. Then I discovered that in the state of unity of heaven and man, I could always faintly sense some mysterious fluctuation in the world. At first, I thought it was just my imagination, but recently, I have been able to feel that fluctuation constantly, and it's becoming clearer. I'm worried that something might be wrong with my cultivation, so I wanted to ask you. Lu Qing was greatly surprised. Master had indeed sensed the fluctuations emanating from the returning ruin's secret realm. Logically speaking, only those in the primordial spirit realm should be able to perceive such disturbances. It seems that this past year of cultivation had led Master to yet another breakthrough, and the sense of unity of heaven and man had become even more miraculous. Seeing the concern on his master's face, Lu Qing considered it for a moment before saying, I didn't expect you to sense those fluctuations as well, master. The elder doctor's eyes lit up. So, Ah Qing, you? Indeed, those fluctuations do exist, and it's not a problem with your cultivation. Lu Qing nodded and said, However, logically speaking, this fluctuation should only be perceivable by cultivators above the primordial spirit realm, which is why I never mentioned it. I didn't expect you to sense it too, master. It seems that over the past year, your cultivation has reached an astonishing realm. Lu Qing's face was filled with admiration. The cultivation resources Master possessed were far inferior to his own. Yet his progress in cultivation had not been slow at all, practically cultivating at the upper limit of their homeland's recovery. It's safe to say that now in the whole world, excluding him, Master's strength was likely unrivaled, and his spiritual sense had reached a remarkable level. Even the grand fluctuations that were supposedly only detectable by those in the primordial spirit realm, he could vaguely sense. To know Master's current realm was only at the perfection of the Golden Core 6th turn, yet to step into the 7th transition. Don't exaggerate, my little ability is far behind yours. It's just that I felt a hint of it when entering the unity of heaven and man realm. The elder doctor first jokingly scolded before curiously asking, Ah Qing, what exactly is that fluctuation? I feel that it seems to be coming from beyond the heavens. I've investigated it. That fluctuation is from a secret realm beyond the stars that is about to emerge. The range of its transmission is extremely wide, encompassing the surrounding celestial domains. Lu Qing didn't hide anything and simply explained the matter of the returning ruin's secret realm to his master. A disturbance from a secret realm emergence, actually spreading across several celestial domains? The elder doctor was somewhat shocked after hearing it. He had heard Lu Qing mention the concept of celestial domains, knowing that each domain held unimaginably vast starry territories. Yet now, a secret realm's impending emergence sent disturbances enveloping multiple celestial domains. He couldn't imagine what kind of secret realm it must be to possess such formidable power. Little Yen and Han Lingshuang, quietly listening by the side, were equally stunned upon hearing their conversation. No need to think about it. The secret realm that's about to emerge is bound to be unimaginable, but it has nothing to do with us, so we shouldn't worry, Lu Qing said with a smile. Indeed, the emergence of such a secret realm is bound to attract worldwide attention, and it truly has nothing to do with us, the elder doctor nodded. He knew without thinking that the imminent secret realm's fluctuation, being so vast, would have long captured the interest of countless powerful forces. By now, there were probably countless strong cultivators eyeing that secret realm covetously. For those with slightly weaker strength, any mistake could lead to a disastrous outcome. Under such circumstances, they couldn't possibly venture to explore the secret realm, so saying it had nothing to do with them made perfect sense. It's good to know it's not my imagination. I thought maybe my cultivation path was wrong, or I might have developed a heart demon. The elder doctor relaxed and said, Master, you are favored by the heavens, blessed with merit light. How could you possibly develop a heart demon? Lu Qing said with a smile. Even if I were to have a heart demon, you wouldn't. Lu Qing's gaze fell on his master. The wondrous merit light was invaluable, capable of suppressing all kinds of evil demons, and had miraculous effects on restraining and eliminating heart demons and other negative emotions. Back when Master was crossing the Golden Core tribulation, he exhausted all his accumulated merit light. But in the decades since, Master hadn't ceased doing good and accumulating merit, practicing medicine and saving lives. Even when demon cultivators ran rampant across the land a few years ago, he remained stationed in Jili village. Thus, the merit light on him had accumulated once more, even more concentrated than before the tribulation. Don't joke about that. No one admits to having a heart demon, the elder doctor said with a serious expression. Yes, disciple will remember. Lu Qing immediately agreed. The master and disciple chatted for a while longer before Lu Qing took little Yen, Han Lingshuang, and little Li back home. Brother, now that you've mastered the secret technique, what are you going to do next? Enter closed-door cultivation for a new secret technique, little Yen asked. Lu Qing thought for a moment and said, Let's rest for a while first. I'll cook for you today, and after a few days, I'll continue cultivating other techniques. In the past year, Lu Qing had been contemplating the Tao, which greatly taxed his spirit. Previously, he did not feel it during cultivation, but now that he relaxed suddenly, he felt quite fatigued in his heart and spirit. So he planned to rest for a few days before cultivating the mistaken divine skill. Brother is going to cook. Then little Yen wants to eat fish. Little Yan's eyes lit up, and she said coquettishly, Want to eat fish, All right, we'll go fishing later. Hearing this, Lu Qing responded without hesitation. Coincidentally, fishing was also a great way for him to relax his mind and spirit. Are we going to catch spirit fish? Yay, yay! Little Li was so excited upon hearing about fishing that his ears twitched happily. Even Han Lingshuang subconsciously swallowed. She remembered the spirit fish feast Lu Qing had made last time, which was the most delicious thing she'd ever tasted. That flavor, she still reminisced about it from time to time. Since everyone wants to eat fish, let's go to the riverbank now. Immediately, Lu Qing led everyone towards the riverbank. The villagers saw Lu Qing holding a fishing rod and little Li carrying a wooden bucket and immediately knew they were going fishing again. The young villagers, witnessing this scene, recalled the elders saying that immortal Master Lu loved fishing, and thought to themselves how true it was. After spending an enjoyable time fishing by the river, Lu Qing and the others returned fully loaded, having caught a lot of spirit fish. Lu Qing prepared a spirit fish feast for everyone, making them all very happy. After dinner, Lu Qing returned to his quiet room, and for a moment found himself at a loss. Although he planned to rest for a few days, waiting for his heart and spirit to fully recover before cultivating the mistaken divine skill. But being accustomed to cultivating every night, once he was idle, he felt somewhat bored. Thinking about it, he suddenly remembered something, and casually summoned the leaving fire tripod. Yen, I'm going to refine some elixirs and might need your help. Yes, master. Yen in the leaving fire tripod was initially surprised, not knowing why Lu Qing suddenly summoned it. Now hearing that he wanted to refine pills, it immediately became excited. It had been a long time since it last attempted alchemy. Furthermore, as Lu Qing's cultivation became more and more unfathomable, Yan felt that the leaving fire tripods help to Lu Qing was gradually diminishing, especially since Lu Qing successfully cultivated divine skills before manifesting the true witch body, showing that just the natural force field from his physical body could twist and collapse space. This left Yan gawking in astonishment. It never thought a cultivator's physical body could be so powerful. It even wondered if Lu Qing's body was stronger than the leaving fire tripod itself. Therefore, Yan felt an unspoken sense of anxiety. As Lu Qing's strength continued to grow, if one day the leaving fire tripod was no longer any help to him, what then would it do? Thus, upon hearing Lu Qing wanted its help with alchemy, Yan's excitement was imaginable. This meant it still had moments to prove its value. Master, which elixirs do you want to refine? Yan asked. I plan to first refine the ice spiritual medicine obtained in Ice Soul Valley into spirit pills for Little Yan and Lord Han to use. As for later, let's see if we can also refine the pure lotus and five-colored treasure lotus into pills. Little Yan and Han Lingshuang were both cultivating cold ice system techniques, and back when Lu Qing and Little Li were in Ice Soul Valley, they collected a lot of ice spiritual medicines. Now keeping them in the storage ring was useless. Better to refine them into elixirs for Little Yan and the others to use. As for the pure lotus and five-colored treasure lotus, Lu Qing originally intended to keep them for himself. Unexpectedly, his path of cultivation was rather unique, and these spiritual medicines, which could enhance talent, were no longer of much use to him. Though the massive medicinal power contained in top-grade spiritual medicines could also enhance his cultivation. Doing so seemed wasteful. If Lu Qing wanted to enhance his cultivation, the spirit stones he had were already sufficient. But refining these two top-grade spiritual medicines into pills could put them to greater use. Especially the pure lotus, which had the mysterious effect of purifying the golden core and enhancing its grade. For Hu Ziji and Han Lingshuang, who were at the mid-grade golden core stage, it represented hope for reaching the primordial spirit realm. I understand. There are some pill recipes from the Lihua sect for ice element elixirs that can improve cultivation or enhance talent. As Lihua sect's most important sect spirit artifact, the leaving fire tripod had been used to refine countless spirit pills and magical treasures. As the artifact spirit of the Lihua sect, it could be considered a master in alchemy and artifact refining. It was well versed in the refining methods of the Lihua sect's magical treasures and elixirs. If it's not suitable, I also have a lot of pill recipes that you can use. Master has quite a few pill recipes? Yan's eyes shone. Yes, not only pill recipes but also many methods for artifact refining. Do you want them? Lu Qing had acquired a lot of secret techniques, magical treasures, and alchemy and refining methods from the strong figures of the Golden Core realm and Primordial Spirit realm he had defeated, including even the refining method for top-grade spiritual medicine like the pure lotus. It was for this reason that he considered refining two top-grade spiritual medicines into pills. And hearing Lu Qing's words, Yan suddenly had a flash of insight. It thought of a possibility and became somewhat excited. Master, can I ask you for something? Yan asked anxiously. What is it? If possible, could you teach me those methods for refining elixirs and magical treasures? Sure, when I have time, I'll organize those jade scrolls, and if you want them, you can use them. Lu Qing agreed without hesitation. Thank you, Master. Yan was overjoyed and immediately thanked him. Lu Qing chuckled. He had already memorized those refining methods for elixirs and magical treasures. Since Yan was interested, giving them to it was no harm. Anyway, it was usually inside the leaving fire tripod with nothing to do. It might as well have something to occupy itself with. Then, Master, let's start refining elixirs. With Lu Qing's permission, Yan's enthusiasm surged. Immediately, it began refining the elixirs as instructed by Lu Qing. While Lu Qing and Yan were refining elixirs together, outside in the starry sky, in the Heavenly Sword sect, the Holy Land revered by countless sword cultivators. on the largest sword-shaped mountain. A young man in white led dozens of straight-backed, sword-wielding primordial spirit realm cultivators exuding intense sword intent to salute an elderly man in a gray robe who stood with hands behind his back. Swordmaster, the disciples are ready and can set off at any time. The elderly man turned to inspect the dozens of disciples. Feeling the swordmaster's gaze, all the primordial spirit realm disciples straightened their backs even further. As the current master of the skybreaking sword sect, the swordmaster was usually as elusive as a dragon. They rarely had the chance to meet him. Now, they wanted to leave a good impression. Good, not bad. Observing the spirit and presence of the disciples, the gray-robed elder nodded in satisfaction. You all know the task this time, don't you? Understood, the disciples replied in unison. Since you understand, I won't repeat myself. The returning ruins secret realm is about to emerge. Your mission is to seize the opportunities within. But while opportunities are important, preserving yourselves is crucial. Follow your senior brother's arrangements. Yes, Sword Master. All right, you may leave. You have 3 days to prepare, then regroup and set out. The returning ruins secret realm is far, so start early. We understand. After the primordial spirit realm disciples withdrew, the young man in white remained. Is there something else? The gray-robed elder inquired. Sword Master, you asked me to investigate the young man using skybreaking sword chi in the heavenly origin great world. I sent someone, and they've returned with the findings. The young man in white respectfully replied. Oh? Tell me about it. The gray-robed elder's brow twitched slightly, and he spoke in a calm voice. The gray-clothed elder was somewhat interested in the unknown young man who knew the skybreaking sword chi. After all, any power that could make one of the strongest forces in a great world lodge a protest to their skybreaking sword sect. Clearly, that young man must have stirred up quite a storm in the heavenly origin great world. Although a mere force from a great world wasn't much in his eyes. But he was still curious about what exactly that young man had done. According to the disciples sent to investigate, there indeed was a young man who displayed skybreaking sword chi in the heavenly origin great world, and he was able to form skybreaking sword chi while in the Golden Core realm. Able to form skybreaking sword chi in the Golden Core realm? The gray-clothed elder looked surprised. Exactly, that young man, besides cultivating skybreaking sword chi, seemed to have also practiced a sword formation skill, capable of integrating the skybreaking sword chi. He could, with a golden core body, slay those in the primordial spirit realm. Moreover, his physical body was incredibly strong. When at the Golden Core realm, he slew several in the primordial spirit realm using only the power of his physical body. Later, when he achieved primordial spirit, the heavenly tribulation he triggered was utterly bizarre, completely different from any recorded heavenly tribulation. The tribulation cloud was unpredictable, and he endured 3 distinctly different tribulation clouds, through 27 Tao tribulation thunder, to achieve the primordial spirit. Skybreaking Sword Sect is deservedly a well-known sword cultivation holy land among several immortal domains, possessing immense power. If Lu Qing were here, he would find that the white-clothed youth had thoroughly uncovered most of his deeds in the heavenly origin great world. Even the various identities he used were all investigated. As the white-clothed youth narrated, the gray-clothed elder's face showed increasing surprise. Finally, his heart and spirit were shaken. Whether it was the strange heavenly tribulation of the primordial spirit or the transformation into a 100-jong giant, it left him in shock. Finally, when he heard that Lu Qing managed to suppress the 5 tribulation demon king, even imprisoning him, he could no longer maintain his calm. Are you saying that the young man, having just achieved the primordial spirit realm, could contend with a 5 tribulation demon king? The gray-clothed elder asked incredulously. Yes, and it wasn't just an ordinary 5 tribulation demon king. It was a seasoned one who had begun to understand space law, and according to the demon clan in the heavenly origin great world, the 5 tribulation demon king known as White Ape King is already deceased. Such an extraordinarily talented devil beyond reason? The gray-clothed elder murmured after receiving confirmation from the white-clothed youth. The white-clothed youth understood well why the sword master would lose composure. He recalled that, when he first learned of these details, he was even more astonished than the sword master. One should know that even in the sky-breaking sword sect, there had never been such an otherworldly figure. It was rumored that the third-generation ancestor once had the achievement of slaying the primordial spirit with a golden core body, but not to the point of, having just achieved the primordial spirit, being able to suppress and slay a five-tribulation great power. Sword Master, how should we respond to the young man who understands our sky-breaking sword sect's sword chi? The white-clothed youth asked. Have you found out where the young man is now located? No. The white-clothed youth shook his head. That person is extremely mysterious, and it's unknown what kind of heritage he carries. It's said he possesses a very powerful space treasure. The day he was besieged by 8 five-tribulation primordial spirits, he escaped using the treasure and hasn't been seen since, whereabouts unknown. To be besieged by 8 five-tribulation primordial spirits, not only to escape smoothly but also to counterslay a 5-tribulation demon king. This child cannot be measured by common cultivation knowledge. He is an extraordinary anomaly, the gray-clothed elder gravely stated. Such anomalies are the hardest to fathom and should not be made enemies of lightly, or it could leave significant future troubles. He comprehends the sky-breaking sword chi, likely learned from a legacy left by an ancestor outside, and cannot be counted as a disciple of our sky-breaking sword sect. However, with this connection, there is no need for us to enmity him and unnecessarily offend people. The white-clothed youth nodded. He knew that in the past, some ancestors of the sect, during their travels, occasionally left behind some opportunities in various worlds. As a result, there were instances when someone who mastered the legacy of their sky-breaking sword sect would eventually come to join their sect, which had happened from time to time in the past. Yet, among those disciples, there had never been such a heaven-defying individual. Sword Master, how should we respond to the claims from the heavenly origin great world? Ignore them entirely, the gray-clothed elder snorted coldly. A bunch of 5 tribulation primordial spirits besieging a single primordial spirit initial realm, bullying the small with the big, only to suffer and then have the cheek to protest? It's just as well that young man isn't a disciple of our sky-breaking sword sect. Otherwise, I would personally go have a chat with those old fellows of the heavenly origin great world. When the human power from the heavenly origin great world came to protest before, the gray-clothed elder assumed that the young man had committed some grave, heaven-defying sin. For this reason, he sent someone to investigate the situation. Upon understanding the cause, the gray-clothed elder had nothing but a bad expression knowing the truth. Understood, disciple. Upon hearing the discontent in the sword master's words, the white-clothed youth's heart tightened immediately. With the sword master's status, if he truly went out, it would certainly cause tremors across several surrounding immortal domains. Enough, I understand this matter now. You may go and prepare for the journey to the secret realm of the ruins. Also, take this object with you. If you encounter something you cannot withstand, crush it. The gray-clothed elder tossed an item over, and the white-clothed youth quickly caught it. Once he saw the appearance of the item, his heart instantly rejoiced, and he quickly bowed in gratitude. Thank you, Sword Master, for bestowing this treasure. His heart was now set, and with this treasure, their journey to the secret realm of the ruins was more assured. Go now. Disciple takes his leave. After bowing once more, the white-clothed youth transformed into sword light and soared into the sky. The gray-clothed elder watched that sword light disappear, still gazing at the horizon. For a long time he suddenly sighed. The secret realm of the ruins emerging, along with unprecedented anomalies of talents appearing in the world, it seems the great catastrophe the third ancestor mentioned is indeed approaching. It remains to be seen whether our sky-breaking sword sect can survive this great catastrophe and seize the initiative. Moreover, it is rumored that the secret realm of the ruins holds the Tao transformation secret. This time's contention is feared to be unprecedentedly fierce. The Netherworld Palace and Black and White Temple will likely spare no effort in seizing the opportunities within. May Yu Jian and his team have a successful outcome on this journey. The gray-clothed elder's mind was in turmoil, and his cultivation, though exceedingly high, could not discern the path ahead, unsure if he could protect the sky-breaking sword sect. He stood like a statue on the mountaintop for a long time, not knowing what he was contemplating. With the final spell cast by Lu Qing, the power of the leaving fire tripod suddenly surged, and a strange medicinal fragrance wafted out from within. It's a success. Yen showed a look of delight in her eyes. Lu Qing also had a smile on his face. With a thought, 18 streams of light flew out of the leaving fire tripod and floated in front of him. As the light faded, 18 round, semi-transparent elixirs appeared, seemingly shrouded in a miraculous vapor. Is this the legendary elixir of pristine purity, the top-grade spirit pill? Yen looked at the 18 elixirs with a fascinated gaze. As a master of alchemy like herself, she couldn't help but be enchanted by the spirit pills before her, because this was the highest-grade spirit pill she had ever participated in refining. Though she had refined countless elixirs in the Lihua sect, she had never made a top-grade spiritual medicine before. After all, top-grade spiritual medicines are exceedingly rare, and even the strength of the Lihua sect in its prime never acquired one. Thus, this was Yan's first time participating in refining a top-grade elixir. To succeed on the first try, she found it almost unbelievable. Indeed, this is the elixir of pristine purity. We have successfully refined it, and its quality is perfect as well. Lu Qing, after checking with his superpower, showed a look of satisfaction. This elixir of pristine purity was created by using the top-grade spiritual medicine Pure Lotus, supplemented with many precious spiritual medicines, making it a top-grade spirit pill. Its main function is to improve talent, cleanse the golden core, and elevate the golden core's grade to the postnatal top-grade level. This kind of spirit pill, even in the heavenly origin great world, would be considered extremely precious. If placed in an auction, it would surely be fiercely contested and fetch a sky-high price. After admiring for a while, Lu Qing took out several jade bottles and stored the 18 elixirs of pristine purity separately. Yen found it incredible that they could successfully refine this top-grade spirit pill on the first try. But only Lu Qing knew he had already rehearsed the refining method countless times using his superpower. With his current level of control, failing to refine it would have been strange. Well, next, we'll refine the 5 Spirits Unification Pill. Lu Qing continued. The 5 Spirits Unification Pill is also a top-grade spirit pill, with its main spiritual medicine being the 5 Elements Treasure Lotus. It's a powerful spirit pill capable of enhancing cultivation talent and significantly aiding in cultivation level improvement. However, for Lu Qing, elixirs that enhance talent have no effect. After all, his current talent has reached a heaven-defying level, astonishing many mysterious great powers. Even a top-grade spirit pill can no longer enhance his talent even slightly. He mainly refined these pills to prepare them for little Yen and the others. As Lu Qing initiated the alchemy process again, the quiet room returned to silence. 3 days later, with the joint efforts of Lu Qing and Yen, the 5 Spirits Unification Pill was also successfully refined without any surprises. Yen, thank you for your hard work this time. Here, take these Inheritance Jade Scrolls. They contain the knowledge related to magic treasures and alchemy that you might be interested in. Lu Qing handed some jade scrolls to Yen. Thank you, Master. Yen was overjoyed and quickly accepted the Inheritance Jade Scrolls. All right, take your time to comprehend them. I will soon start my next closed-door cultivation as well. Lu Qing collected the pills and the leaving fire tripod. He assessed his condition and found that his heart and spirit had recovered to their peak state. The continuous alchemy over the past few days had not exhausted his heart and spirit much. Compared to comprehending the Tao and enhancing divine skills, alchemy was relatively simple, practically a leisure activity with negligible energy consumption for him. However, although his state was excellent, Lu Qing did not immediately start a closed-door cultivation. He sensed the outside weather and found that it was still early in the morning, then left the quiet room. Outside, he saw little Yen and the others were cultivating. so he did not interrupt them and continued walking outward. Soon, Lu Qing arrived at the Wei family's detached house. Brother Lu. Standing in front of the Wei family's detached house, Lu Qing hesitated on how to knock, but a figure had already darted out from inside. Who else but Wei Zian? Brother Lu, weren't you in closed-door cultivation? How do you have time to come over? Wei Zian appeared very happy. Lu Qing, after returning, was visiting the detached house for the first time. I just finished my retreat. I have some matters to attend to, so I came over. By the way, is Miss Hu here? Since arriving at Jili village, Hu Zheji had been staying in a side courtyard of the Wei family's detached house. Originally, according to Hu Laosan's plan, they intended to build a house of their own after settling down. But, for some reason, they gave up on this idea and continued living with the Wei family. She is. Sister who hasn't left the village. She's cultivating at home. I'll call her for you. As Wei Zian was about to run towards the detached house, Lu Qing stopped him with a smile. No need. She's already sensed that I've come. Just as he finished speaking, a voice filled with surprise rang out. Brother Lu, what brings you here? Soon, Hu Zheji's figure appeared, looking at Lu Qing with delight. Quickly, Wei Shanhai, Wei Xinghe, Mrs. Wei, and the others also came out from the detached house to greet Lu Qing. I have something to discuss with you, so I came to see if you were here. Lu Qing smiled. You specifically came to find me? Hu Zheji's heart was even more delighted. Then come to my room. All right. Lu Qing nodded. By the way, Mrs. Wei and Senior Wei, you should come over too. I happen to have something for you. We should come as well? Wei Shanhai and others were slightly surprised. But since Lu Qing said so, they naturally couldn't refuse. Thus, everyone gathered in Hu Zheji's little courtyard. Brother Lu, Senior Wei, everyone, please have some tea. Hu Zheji served them tea, and after everyone finished drinking, Lu Qing took out 2 jade bottles. Miss Hu, as I promised before, the medicine to cleanse the golden core has been refined in these past days. The jade bottle on the left contains the elixir that can cleanse the golden core. The one on the right has some elixirs to enhance your cultivation. You should take them. Lu Qing handed both jade bottles to Hu Zheji. But Hu Zheji was stunned looking at the 2 jade bottles. Previously, Lu Qing mentioned he would give her elixirs to cleanse the golden core. She thought it would take much longer. Unexpectedly, it hasn't been long, yet he refined them and brought them personally. Wei Zian and the others, upon hearing this, all showed envious expressions. They only realized now that Lu Qing came to deliver elixirs to Hu Zheji. Brother Lu, this is too precious. I can hardly accept it. You should keep them for little Yen and the others. After coming to her senses, Hu Zheji waved her hands repeatedly. She wasn't unaware of how useful Lu Qing's spiritual pills were to her, but she instinctively refused. Little Yen has refined an innate top-grade golden core, so this cleansing elixir is not very useful to her. Moreover, I have already prepared the elixirs for her cultivation. This is specially prepared for you, so please accept it. Lu Qing learned from his master that during these years, when he and little Yen were out, it was generally Hu Zheji and his puppet avatar that guarded the village. And because of his puppet avatar needing secrecy, it was actually more often Hu Zheji who silently guarded the village. Lu Qing naturally wouldn't overlook Hu Zheji's contribution. That's why he specially brought these elixirs to her. Then, Brother Lu, I'll shamelessly accept them. After hearing Lu Qing's words, Hu Zheji hesitated for a moment, but eventually accepted the 2 jade bottles. She realized that with Lu Qing's capability, it would be impossible for little Yen to lack elixirs. What she just said was indeed somewhat embarrassing. Seeing Hu Zheji take the elixirs, Lu Qing smiled slightly. Right? The elixir in the jade bottle that cleanses the golden core is named the elixir of pristine purity. You don't need to rush to consume it now. Wait until your golden core reaches the 3rd transition perfection. Then take it. Not only can it cleanse your golden core, it can also help you break through the bottleneck. As for those cultivation-enhancing elixirs, they can be taken anytime. However, be mindful of the dosage. Don't rely too heavily on the power of the elixir. The cultivation-enhancing elixirs Lu Qing gave to Hu Zezhi were not the 5 elements harmonizing pill, but rather were obtained from a late-stage golden core realm cultivator whom he had once slain. 5 elements harmonizing pill is a superb spiritual pill, best taken by cultivators practicing all 5 elements, having the best effect, but it's not suitable for Hu Zezhi and others to use. I understand, thank you, Brother Lu. Hu Zezhi happily kept the 2 bottles of spiritual pills in her bosom. Lu Qing saw this with a slight change in expression, but said nothing. Instead, he took out another jade bottle, looking at Mrs. Wei. Madam, I see that you are currently in the internal organ realm? Mrs. Wei froze, then nodded somewhat embarrassedly. Yes, but my cultivation is due to consuming quite a bit of supplements. It's merely superficial cultivation without much understanding of cultivation, and now with old age and declining qi blood, I'm barely maintaining the initial realm of the internal organ realm. Regarding this matter, Mrs. Wei was also quite helpless. She hadn't failed to attempt diligent cultivation, as after all, her husband, son, and even ancestors all had successful cultivation as immortal Dao people. Just in terms of lifespan, they had several hundred years. She naturally wanted the same. But cultivation is not just about hard work. Talent is also very important. It was evident Mrs. Wei lacked such talent. After striving for a while, she realized she could not walk the path of immortal Dao and ultimately gave up in frustration. Madam, I have a spiritual medicine that can help you break through to the innate realm, but after using this medicine, your potential will also be depleted. In the future, you can only cultivate up to the innate perfection realm and cannot break through to the foundation establishment realm. I wonder if Madam is willing to take this medicine, Lu Qing said with some seriousness. Ah Qing, are you really saying there's elixir that can help me break through to the innate realm? Mrs. Wei was astonished upon hearing this. Others also widened their eyes, especially Wei Zian. His hands even started trembling. Brother Lu, you say there's an elixir that can help my mother break through to the innate realm? Yes, but this elixir requires someone with profound cultivation to help refine it. Otherwise, taking it directly could lead to an inability to withstand the overwhelming medicinal power and result in death. Lu Qing said solemnly. So dangerous. Then Brother Lu. Wei Zian was shocked, wanting to say something. Lu Qing nodded. Rest assured, I will help Madam refine the elixir. But I wonder what Madam's decision is? I am naturally very willing. Mrs. Wei, regaining her composure, nodded repeatedly as her heart began to beat rapidly. She knew that an innate realm expert could have a lifespan of 300 years. Currently, she is nearing 100 years old with not many years left. If she could become an innate, she could extend her lifespan by over 200 years, which is a temptation no one can resist. Regarding Lu Qing's statement about not being able to further cultivate to the foundation establishment realm after breakthrough, for her, this is no concern. She wasn't good at cultivation to begin with. On her own, she couldn't even reach the innate realm, let alone the distant foundation establishment realm. Since Madam is willing, shall I help you refine the elixir now? Regarding Mrs. Wei's choice, Lu Qing wasn't surprised. The previous question was merely out of respect for her own wishes. Start now. Mrs. Wei's body trembled a bit, feeling slightly tense. Yes, Madam, rest assured, with me here, there won't be any issues. Lu Qing's words carried a calming aura, and Mrs. Wei, hearing it, visibly relaxed. She smiled. Since that's the case, then please Ah Qing, what should I do? Madam, you only need to consume this elixir, and leave the rest to me. Lu Qing nodded slightly, then gently shook the jade bottle in his hand. A golden elixir leaped out from it. Under Lu Qing's control, it flew towards Mrs. Wei, hovering in front of her. Mrs. Wei did not hesitate, and after taking the elixir, she swallowed it in one go. As Mrs. Wei consumed the elixir, Lu Qing's mana already enveloped her. Meanwhile, dozens of magical treasure golden needles appeared behind him, slowly floating. Soon, the medicine power of the elixir consumed by Mrs. Wei started activating. Beads of sweat formed on her forehead, her brows knitted indicating discomfort. A scorching aura rose from her body. At this moment, Lu Qing's magical treasure golden needles began to move, gently pricking various acupoints on Mrs. Wei's body. Lu Qing assisted with mana to comb and refine the medicinal power, coupled with the golden needle acupuncture and Lu Qing's mana assistance. Mrs. Wei immediately felt huge relief. Her body quickly absorbed the medicinal power of the elixir. The numerous apertures within her were rapidly being opened by the medicinal power, her aura gradually strengthening. Watching such a miraculous scene, Wei Ziyan and others were too tense to even breathe. With continuous absorption of medicinal power, after an hour, Mrs. Wei's aura reached a peak, achieving the inner organ's perfection of the Grandmaster realm, ultimately breaking the limits crossing that threshold. In the next moment, with a sound of impact, the heaven and earth rules appeared. Did she really break through? Seeing the descent of the heaven and earth rules, with the heaven and earth primordial chi enveloping Mrs. Wei, everyone was extremely shocked. Directly transforming a 100-year-old woman, who was not adept at cultivation, into an innate realm expert, granting her an additional 200 years of longevity. What Lu Qing accomplished could truly be called seizing the fortune of heaven, no less than divine means. Wei Xinghe and Wei Ziyan, father and son, were particularly excited. Mrs. Wei's promotion to the innate realm brought them the greatest joy. The dense heaven and earth primordial chi completely submerged Mrs. Wei's figure. Lu Qing stood aside, acting as her protector. The fluctuations of the heaven and earth rules did not affect him in the slightest. After all, this was merely a breakthrough to the innate realm. Such levels of heaven's power, to him, were nothing more than a gentle breeze. After 2 moments passed, the fluctuations of the heaven and earth rules gradually faded, and the heaven and earth primordial chi enveloping Mrs. Wei also dissipated. When she reappeared, her entire appearance had changed. A faint aura of innate charm surrounded her. Her once silver hair turned black. The wrinkles on her face vanished entirely, leaving her skin smooth and tight. The whole of her appearance reverted to a 30-something look, just as Lu Qing remembered when he first met her and Wei Ziyan years ago. This scene left everyone utterly dumbfounded. It was not only that Mrs. Wei stepped into the innate realm, but she also rejuvenated, reclaiming her youthful appearance. "Mother, how do you feel now?" Wei Ziyan, seeing his mother restored to youth, was somewhat in a daze and asked cautiously. As for Wei Xinghe, seeing his rejuvenated wife, was entirely stunned. "I feel wonderful." Mrs. Wei herself was incredulous. Before taking the elixir, although she had internal organ realm cultivation and was not entirely decrepit, the aura of dwindling life was hard to conceal. But now, she was filled with vitality, her body brimming with life, as if she had exchanged it for another. The circulation of innate true chi further allowed her to feel a power she had never felt before. "So, this is true chi, the power you usually possess, so miraculous indeed." Mrs. Wei, feeling the true chi within her, couldn't help but exclaim. "Madam has just broken through. There will still be a need to consolidate your cultivation in the coming days," Lu Qing said with a smile. But I don't understand cultivation," Mrs. Wei said, somewhat at a loss. "No worries. I'll pass you a chi refinement technique. This cultivation technique is not complex, requires no high talent, and can be cultivated with regular practice to improve your cultivation." Lu Qing spoke and gently pointed towards Mrs. Wei's forehead. The next moment, Mrs. Wei felt information pouring into her heart and spirit, causing her to close her eyes and savor it. At the same time, the innate true chi within her body also began to circulate along with the new insights involuntarily. Once the circulation was completed, Mrs. Wei was amazed to discover that she had memorized the technique's route. She couldn't help but follow the memorized path of the technique, circulating it repeatedly. Unaware, Lu Qing's finger had already left her forehead. After 9 circulations of the technique, a faint wisp of spiritual power appeared in her Dan Tian Chi Si. "Ah Qing, this is..." Mrs. Wei opened her eyes, with a look of confusion. "Congratulations, madam. You have already mastered the evergreen technique and have become a true chi refiner," Lu Qing said with a smile. "Evergreen technique?" Indeed, the technique I just transmitted to you is called the Evergreen Technique. It leans towards nourishing the body, it's simple to learn, easy to practice, and yields results with diligent cultivation. The difficulty is not high. With regular practice, progress is assured. This technique has effects like extending longevity and maintaining youthfulness. The downside is its lack of power, less effective against enemies when compared to regular techniques. It can extend longevity and maintain youth? Hearing Lu Qing's words, Mrs. Wei's eyes lit up. Even Hu Zheji's expression showed a slight change. Yes, if Madame practices diligently and reaches qi refining perfection, she can even surpass the typical lifespan limit of the qi refinement realm, gaining an additional 50 years of life. However, the power of evergreen spiritual power is weak. It's not suitable for combat. Please remember this, Madame, Lu Qing admonished. That's quite enough. I don't fight anyway. Even if the power were greater, it would be useless to me. Mrs. Wei was overjoyed and quickly said. She then stood up and gave Lu Qing a deep bow. Ah Qing, thank you for giving this old woman a new lease on life. I really don't know how I can repay this kindness. Yes, Brother Lu. Thank you for expending your heart and spirit to help my mother reach the innate realm. Wei Zian also promptly expressed his gratitude to Lu Qing. Wei Xinghe likewise offered a deep bow. Thank you, young master, for your gracious favor of saving my wife. No need for formalities, Lu Qing said with a smile. It was just a small effort and didn't expend much energy on my part. Lu Qing's words were not meant to comfort everyone. Indeed, helping Mrs. Wei break through hadn't consumed much of his energy. The elixir he had given Mrs. Wei earlier was a unique elixir from beyond the stars, called the Absolute Immortal Pill. Its main effect wasn't anything else but forcibly opening all the meridian channels of a postnatal mortal, achieving full circulation in the early innate qi refinement realm. However, this elixir also carried significant risks. Just like its name, using this elixir to break through is a method akin to pulling up seedlings to help them grow. After breaking through, it will greatly damage one's potential. From then on, it will be difficult to make significant progress, essentially severing the path to immortality, making it hard to break through to the Foundation Establishment realm again. It is said that the extinguishing immortal elixir was invented by a primordial spirit realm alchemist from some small world. That primordial spirit realm alchemist was a person with deep emotions. When he was young and had not yet embarked on the path of cultivation, he had an ordinary wife. The two were deeply in love, but later a passing immortal master saw the primordial spirit realm alchemist and discovered that he had excellent talent for cultivation, and decided to take him as a disciple, bringing him back to the mountain gate to cultivate. The primordial spirit realm alchemist, deeply in love with his wife, could not bear to be separated from her and resolutely refused. As a result, the immortal master forcibly took him away, accepted him as a disciple, and promised that if he cultivated diligently, he would be allowed to reunite with his wife once he reached Foundation Establishment. To reunite with his wife as soon as possible, the alchemist cultivated day and night. Finally, after several decades, he successfully established his foundation and had quite an accomplishment in the way of alchemy, earning the opportunity to go home. However, when he hurried home, he found that his wife had long since become white-haired, elderly, and had little time left. Nonetheless, the alchemist did not give up. To restore his wife's youth and extend her life, he brought her back to the sect, then scoured all the sect's literature, along with his talent in alchemy. In the end, he really did research and developed an elixir that could allow mortals to metamorphose and step into the immortal Tao. But before he could finish refining the elixir, his wife had already succumbed to the ravages of time, ultimately exhausting her lifespan and returned to the netherworld. Having lost his beloved wife, the alchemist was deeply grieved. A dignified Foundation Establishment stage cultivator turned white-haired overnight. Later, after burying his wife, he returned to the sect to focus on cultivation. Perhaps his wife's death severed his last ties to the mortal world, greatly elevating his state of mind. The alchemist's potential was completely unleashed, with his cultivation speed advancing by leaps and bounds, achieving the golden core in a short time. Then, in just 200 years, he passed the primordial spirit tribulation, becoming the youngest primordial spirit realm cultivator in the sect. This made the alchemist's master, the same immortal master who had forcibly taken him away and also the sect leader, extremely pleased, proud of his choice back then. If not for that momentary inspiration, deliberately setting obstacles, taking the disciple's mortal wife as an object of heart refinement. How else could the disciple sever mundane ties, purify his Tao heart, and realize that the great Tao is heartless, only the immortal Tao is eternal? Just when the sect leader was delighted, contemplating how to cultivate the disciple into the next captain of the sect, a tragedy occurred. On a certain bloody night, the sect's disciples and elders were poisoned and killed by a strange toxin, all perishing overnight. Even the sect leader himself was poisoned and then attacked and killed. The one who caused this tragedy was none other than his prized disciple, that alchemist. As it turned out, after his wife's death, the alchemist harbored boundless hatred toward his master who took him away. It was precisely this hatred that drove him to cultivate with everything he had. The purpose was to take revenge on his master one day when he was strong enough. He knew his master valued the sect the most, so he also wanted to destroy everything his master cherished, making him taste the despair. In the end, he succeeded. The fellow disciples who lived together every day had little defense against him. All were silently poisoned by the toxin he meticulously studied. Even the master was poisoned without any defense, and was ultimately killed by him personally. Thoughts of the extinguishing immortal elixir's legend flowed through Lu Qing's mind. He had seen this in an alchemy literature left by a primordial spirit realm cultivator. According to the literature, that alchemist self-destructed his primordial spirit and died after destroying his sect. However, before ending himself, he recorded all the reasons for the events on a jade scroll and left behind all his life's knowledge. Eventually, these relics were obtained by other sects who rushed over after hearing the news. Only then was the cause and effect of this sect annihilation tragedy known. The recipe for the extinguishing immortal elixir was thus passed down. When Lu Qing read this account, his feelings were complicated. He couldn't evaluate the right or wrong of this matter, only felt that the world is unpredictable, sometimes truly making one sigh. Of course, these thoughts only circled in Lu Qing's mind. He didn't speak of the extinguishing immortal elixir's legend. Although the extinguishing immortal elixir is not of high grade, its value is not low, requiring several spiritual medicines to refine. This one, he obtained from the collection of a certain primordial spirit great power. Unfortunately, the usage of the extinguishing immortal elixir also has certain conditions. The condition is that the consumer must have a certain Qi blood foundation, at least late-stage postnatal realm cultivation. Otherwise, an ordinary mortal simply cannot withstand the powerful force of the elixir. Therefore, an old man like Uncle Zhang with no cultivation cannot take this elixir. Lu Qing had no way around this. After all, he was not omnipotent. No matter what, Brother Lu, the kindness you've shown to our family is truly too much. The Wei family can never repay it in this lifetime. Wei Ziyan expressed his deep gratitude. We've known each other for so many years. What's a little thing like this? Lu Qing smiled, then stood up. Well, I finished what I needed to do, it's time to go back. Ziyan, cultivate well. When you break through to Golden Core Realm, I have a gift for you too. Brother Lu, let me see you off, Wei Ziyan hurriedly said. The others also got up. But Lu Qing waved his hand. No need. There's no need to see me off for this short distance. I'm leaving. After saying this, he already turned into a streak of light, heading out, flying towards his home. Ah Qing, this is really... Mrs. Wei didn't expect that Lu Qing would leave just like that before she could say many words of gratitude, leaving her to only sigh. Young Master Lu always feared trouble the most. It seems he hasn't changed one bit all these years, Wei Shanhai remarked with emotion. The Wei family lingered for a while longer before bidding farewell to Hu Zizhi. When they returned to their courtyard, the family servants witnessed Mrs. Wei's rejuvenation, naturally causing a commotion. But none of this concerned Lu Qing anymore. He returned home to find little Yen and the others just awakening from meditation. You are awake? Perfect. I have something for you. Lu Qing called Little Yen and Han Lingshuang over. "Brother, what good stuff is it?" Little Yan's eyes lit up instantly upon hearing this. "I have refined some elixirs in the past few days." Lu Qing took out several jade bottles. These 2 bottles contain ice element elixirs, which enhance cultivation. You cultivate ice element techniques, so they are just right for you. As for this jade bottle, it contains an elixir that can enhance the grade of a golden core, meant for Lord Han. Ice element elixirs? Little Yen happily took the jade bottle. "So, brother, you were in the quiet room refining elixirs these days. No wonder I kept smelling the fragrance of medicine. Guardian, such precious elixirs. How could I bear to accept them?" Han Lingshuang was somewhat apprehensive and dared not take them. "It's all right. These things are of no use to me, but they can enhance your cultivation, which is putting them to good use." Without giving Han Lingshuang a chance to refuse, Lu Qing placed the jade bottle in her hands, forcing her to accept it. "Then I thank the guardian very much." Han Lingshuang gracefully curtsied before finally putting away the jade bottle. "No need for formality." Lu Qing nodded and then said, "By the way, Little Yen, I have to go into seclusion again soon, so I may not be able to cook for you for some time." "It's okay, brother, you go into seclusion. I also need to refine the elixirs you gave me," said Little Yen cheerfully. "Okay, just mind your limits. Though you have the mystic cold flame, don't refine too many elixirs in a short time to avoid accumulating elixir toxin." "I understand." After making some recommendations, Lu Qing prepared to enter seclusion in the Jade Cave. However, before leaving, Little Li sprang onto his shoulder, wanting to go into seclusion with him. Lu Qing did not refuse, and soon he took Little Li into the Jade Cave. Sitting cross-legged in the quiet room, Lu Qing began concentrating. This time, he has truly finished all various matters and his heart and spirit were restored to their peak state. He can start wholeheartedly comprehending the divine skill mistaken and elevate this small divine power to the great divine power level. As Lu Qing meditated, his heart and spirit once again sensed the Sea of Laws. Heart and spirit enter the Sea of Laws, and Lu Qing immediately senses the path corresponding to mistaken. At that time, the 2 small divine powers that Lu Qing obtained were Great Strength, which is a physical body divine power, and Mistaken, which is a divine soul divine ability. The path that Mistaken belongs to is precisely the illusion path. As Lu Qing enters the deepest level of meditation, the Jade Cave room returns to tranquility once again. Skybreaking Sword Sect, a white-clad youth leads a group of exceptionally talented primordial spirit realm disciples aboard a gigantic flying boat, racing through the starry sky. "Senior brother, as we head to the secret realm of Gue Su, did the Sword Master give specific instructions on what fortune to seize?" a disciple asked the white-clad youth. "The Sword Master did not specify, just told us to act according to circumstances." The white-clad youth shook his head. He said the Gue Su secret realm is mysterious and unfathomable, appearing once every 10,000 years, but in previous appearances, major sect forces have only been able to enter the peripheral areas and have not touched the true core region. "I will record the situation of those peripheral areas into jade scrolls and give them to you later. The Sword Master commanded this trip if we can seize fortune, that is the best. If not, we cannot let it fall into the hands of Black and White Temple and Netherworld Palace. Do you understand?" "Understood." The disciples of Skybreaking Sword Sect responded in unison. Seeing the disciples acknowledge, the white-clad youth nodded slightly. He stood at the front of the flying boat with his hands behind his back, gazing at the vast starry sky ahead, while his heart and spirit surged with emotions. For some reason, on this trip, he always felt a sense of inexplicable unease. Coupled with the fact that before setting off, the Sword Master sometimes displayed a worried expression. All of this made the white-clad youth develop a sense of alertness and confusion. The Sword Master is a peerless expert above the primordial spirit realm, and even he feels concerned what earth-shattering event could it be. Thinking of the appearance of the Gue Su secret realm this time, and the movements of numerous powerful forces. Intangibly, the white-clad youth seemed to sense a storm approaching. The gigantic flying boat speedily flew quietly through the starry sky, heading towards the silent extinction star C, where the Guizhou secret realm is located. Although the disciples dispatched by Skybreaking Sword Sect this time, the weakest among them, at least possess great power above Primordial Spirit 5 Tribulations, all know the space-shifting technique. However, the distance transmitted by the Primordial Spirit realm's space-shifting technique is naturally considered far within the world. But compared to the vast cosmos, it is insignificant. Therefore, even with the white-clad youth's cultivation, when traversing the starry sky, most of the time he uses the flying boat to travel, rarely using Space Taoist skills. The silent extinction star C is quite distant from Skybreaking Sword Sect, so by the time the white-clad youth and others arrived, 2 years had already passed. Is this the silent extinction star C? Standing at the front of the gigantic flying boat, the disciples of Skybreaking Sword Sect looked at the scene ahead, somewhat awestruck. The vast and splendid sea of stars was a sight they had never seen before. However, they also felt that while the sea of stars looked beautiful, it was a lifeless void. The occasional black spatial whirlwinds appearing in between intensified their expressions of shock. From these whirlwinds, they sensed a deadly threat. Right away, everyone realized that these black spatial whirlwinds were extremely dangerous. Once caught in them, even they likely could not escape. The silent extinction star C truly lives up to its name. The white-clad youth felt the waves of destruction emanating from the sea of stars ahead, equally amazed. According to legend, many of the stars in this silent extinction star C were moved here by a legendary immortal who refined them into array eyes, thus creating this sea of stars that neither man nor God dares approach, filled with destructive aura. A disciple narrated the information he found in the texts, speaking in a tone full of reverence. Upon hearing this, the other disciples felt even more astounded. To shift stars from the cosmos and refine a big array, what kind of divine skills and great power would it take to accomplish such an incredible feat? The legendary immortal of transformation is terrifying beyond compare. No wonder so many powerful forces, even knowing the Guizhou secret realm is hidden within the silent extinction star C, never dared to force their way in. They only dared to patiently await the day it naturally surfaced. The immortal's miraculous means of transformation are truly unfathomable, and no one has the capability to force their way in. Ha ha ha! You Jian brother, to think you are indeed swift. I predicted correctly that the leader of Skybreaking Sword Sect would be you, the true disciple's senior brother. As the white-clad youth and others marveled at the silent extinction star C, suddenly, a voice formed by divine soul fluctuation echoed from the starry sky, entering everyone's mind. Soon, a black stream of light flew from afar, stopping and manifesting as a black flying boat. On the flying boat, a group of figures wearing black magic robes with faces hidden behind various masks stood at the front. The leading figure wore a pure black mask with 2 holes left for the eyes. It's people from Netherworld Palace. The disciples of Skybreaking Sword Sect saw this scene and their expressions changed slightly, while they secretly became alert. Skybreaking Sword Sect usually does not get along well with Netherworld Palace, and these crazy assassins who like to hide their faces have always been ruthless and treacherous, thus must be guarded against. Only the white-clad youth's expression remained unchanged as he said lightly, "Hey Ming, don't try to force a bond. Who's your sworn brother? You Jian, you're still so stubborn." The black-masked figure known as He Ming shook his head. "I told you long ago, the grudges between our sects should remain as grudges and shouldn't affect the bond between us. You saved my life back then, and I've never forgotten that debt. That was because I didn't know your true identity at the time. Otherwise, if I had known you were the young palace master of Netherworld Palace, I would have definitely stood by and watched, letting the deadly array swallow you whole." The white-robed youth still spoke with a cold demeanor. The disciples on both sides listened to the conversation and were somewhat stunned. They didn't expect their senior brother, young palace master, to know the leader on the opposite side, and judging by their words, it seemed there was a deep entanglement. "Regardless, I owe you my life, and I will always remember this debt. Brother Yu Jian, I have a proposal. Why don't our two families join forces and explore that secret realm together? If we acquire any treasure, we'll split it 60-40, with your sky-breaking sword sect getting 60. You can also have the first pick of any treasure or fortune. How about it? In the face of the white-robed youth's indifference, He Ming remained unfazed, proposing earnestly instead. I get 60 and you 40? How can you call the shots for your netherworld palace? The white-robed youth mocked. Of course, He Ming replied coolly. I am fully in charge of this expedition to the secret realm, so naturally, I am the one calling the shots. Behind He Ming, all the figures in black robes stood upright, none speaking, as if consenting to his words. Too bad I don't trust you. You negotiate with a tiger, and I'm afraid that just when we obtain the treasure, it'll be the moment when you insidious people stab us in the back. Though He Ming's tone seemed sincere, the white-robed youth didn't believe a word, chuckling instead. Brother Yu Jian, there's no need to be like that. Just as He Ming was about to persuade further, suddenly, a loud laugh resonated. Brother He Ming, since the others aren't willing, why persist in smoothing a cold face? I have a proposal. How about an alliance between your netherworld palace and our black and white temple? With the roar of a rough voice, another streak of light flew in from afar. When the light stopped, it revealed a flying boat characterized by stark black and white contrasts. On the boat stood a group clad in black and white Taoist robes. Leading the group was a tall and burly figure. Though clad in a Taoist robe, his chest was bare, with a string of human skull beads hanging before him. He seemed scarcely like a legitimate cultivator, exuding an intense evil aura instead. And the figures behind him, each exuded a strange and sinister aura. It's the people from the Black and White Temple. The disciples of the sky-breaking sword sect were once again shocked. At the same time, their faces showed even more apprehension. The Black and White Temple at first glance might seem like a righteous sect, but only those who know them well understand just how malevolent this sect is. One could say that the cultivators from the Black and White Temple are more evil than the assassins and demons of the Netherworld Palace. The assassins of the Netherworld Palace kill with their principles, only acting when rewards are offered. Without treasures or spirit stones, no matter how much you plea, they would dismissively ignore it. But the people of the Black and White Temple are different. They kill based purely on whim, never adhering to rules. If you provoke them or hinder them, you are almost certainly doomed. Moreover, these sinister individuals are extremely bloodthirsty and ruthless once they make a move, being completely evil. Tu Shan the demon, I didn't expect you to come as well. The white-robed youth saw the people from the Black and White Temple arrive, a cold aura arising from his body. Especially when his gaze fell on the string of human skulls on Tu Shan the demon's chest, a murderous intent appeared. It was said that this string of human skulls was refined by Tu Shan the demon with the skulls of 18 infants early in his cultivation journey. Now seeing those tender skulls, the white-robed youth understood that the rumors were likely true, and a wave of murderous intent surged within him. Such intense evil qi, Yu Jian? Are you intending to make a move against me? The white-robed youth did not hide his murderous intent. With Tu Shan's cultivation, he naturally sensed it at once. Yet he was unfazed, grinning instead. Indeed, each of your Black and White Temple's demonic ways should be condemned and eliminated by all. Well then, condemned and eliminated by all it is. I'm standing right here. Try making a move. Tu Shan provocatively challenged. I'd love to see for myself what makes your sky-breaking sword sect's sword Dao so exceptional. The cold gleam in the white-robed youth's eyes intensified. His aura surged, and a terrifying sword intent erupted from him. Indeed, he intended to act against Tu Shan. But at that moment, a coquettish voice suddenly chimed in. Hee hee. All my dear brothers arrived so quickly, without waiting for me. A voice full of allure, causing everyone's heart to flutter involuntarily. Accompanied by this beguiling voice, yet another streak of light flew in. Upon stopping, it revealed a pink flying boat. On the boat stood a group of figures, both men and women, each exceptionally beautiful. Their very presence exuded a charm and allure, particularly the leading woman, a stunning beauty standing barefoot, draped in light peach gauze, dressed rather skimpily. Her every frown and smile seemed infused with endless charm, making one unable to look away, their heart and spirit trembling. A certain impulse arose to bow down before her, allowing her to trample upon them at will. Fortunately, everyone present was of profound cultivation, great powers of the primordial spirit realm with steadfast Tao hearts. Upon realizing this, they quickly guarded their heart and spirit, dispelling the surge of impulse. Nonetheless, several in the realm of the primordial spirit felt some fear, marveling at her power within. And being thus interrupted, the fight between the white-robed youth and Tushan could not proceed. Because they recognized the newcomer's identity, people from the pavilion of the enchanting immortal. The one in the lead was the current holy daughter of the pavilion of the enchanting immortal Peach Fairy. The otherworldly techniques of the pavilion of the enchanting immortal were incredibly strange, capable of subtly manipulating hearts and minds, as they had just demonstrated. So, even the white-robed youth knew now was not the time to clash, lest they exploit the situation's vulnerability. No matter how strong his killing intent toward Tushan was, he restrained for the moment. Dear brothers, the secret realm has not yet appeared. Why are you all at each other's throats here? If you were to fight, it might unintentionally trigger the array mechanisms in the silent extinction star. So what then? If there's any displeasure, perhaps I could host a banquet to invite you all over, to quell your tempers. Peach Fairy coquettishly attempted to mediate. Her voice swirled enchantingly, seemingly possessing some strange soothing power, even moderating the killing intent in the white-robed youth's heart. As for the coarse Tushan, it goes without saying. His eyes filled with malicious light, fixating on the half-revealed skin of Peach Fairy. Ha ha! Since she invites, how could we refuse? When you host the banquet, I will certainly be the first to arrive. To drink Peach Fairy's wine would be a great honor for us. Hei Ming also nodded in agreement. Thank you for your kindness, but our sky-breaking sword sect has always walked our own path, so there's no need for us to attend the banquet. But the white-robed youth declined plainly. Humph, pretending to be upright, you truly live up to a hypocritical righteous man. Tushan sneered disdainfully. It's said that Brother Yu Jian is forthright, with a sword heart as clear and unblemished as a mirror. Today upon meeting, indeed it proves true. To stand unmoved before this enchanting Peach Fairy, I am impressed. At that moment, a clear, cold voice sounded again. Following it, a cyan streak of light flew in from afar, ultimately manifesting into a flying boat resembling green bamboo. Standing on the boat were multiple figures, each with a unique presence, yet exuding a sense of tranquility all the same. In the very front stood a woman in green, with bright eyes and lovely teeth, possessing unmatched beauty. The people of Kongming Valley are here too. Everyone felt a stir within their hearts. Seeing that bamboo-like flying boat, everyone's hearts felt a chill. Especially the disciples of the Black and White Temple, Netherworld Palace, and Pavilion of the Enchanting Immortal, who all showed signs of apprehension. The Kongming sect, likewise, is an extremely powerful sect, with foundations not inferior to their own sects. More importantly, this sect prides itself on being righteous, vehemently opposing evil, likes to meddle in others' affairs, and doesn't get along with them at all. Sure enough, once the people from Kongming sect arrived and saw Hei Ming and others from the evil path, their faces displayed an expression of disgust. The lady in the pale blue attire, exuding a cold demeanor, didn't even glance at Hei Ming and the others, steering the flying boat to the side of the sky-breaking sword sect's flying boat. Brother Yu Jian, Qing, she extends her regards. The lady in blue gracefully bowed to the young man in white. Sister Qing Shi, it's been a long time. I didn't expect you to be leading the team from Kongming sect this time. The young man in white, none other than Yu Jian, displayed a gentle smile. I did anticipate that the sky-breaking sword sect would have Brother Yu Jian leading the team. Qing 12 smiled slightly. Humph, vixen. Peach Fairy couldn't help but snort coldly, seeing how the two chatted pleasantly, with a hint of killing intent in her eyes. The Pavilion of the Enchanting Immortal and the Kongming sect are naturally at odds, and Qing 12's pretentious appearance made her feel utterly nauseated. She has already decided that once inside the secret realm, she will definitely find trouble with the Kongming sect. If she could somehow trap Qing Xii forever inside, that would be even better. Thinking of this, a strange light flickered in Peach Fairy's eyes, and she had already begun to plot. Brother Yu Jian, this place is teeming with all sorts of malevolent spirits. Once the secret realm opens, why not join forces so we can watch each other's backs and prevent being sabotaged by these small fry? What do you think? After meeting Yu Jian, Qing Xii brought up the previous proposal once again. Yu Jian pondered for a moment, then glanced around. Soon he nodded. Very well, our two sects have always been closely knit, with a good relationship, so let's enter together. Yu Jian recalled the command given by the sword master before departure. This expedition to the secret realm, even if no treasure is obtained, must not let it fall into the hands of the evil path forces like Netherworld Palace and Black and White Temple. If the alliance with disciples of Kongming sect could be formed, the chances of success would be much greater. Seeing Yu Jian indeed agreeing to ally with Kongming sect, the remaining three forces were collectively shocked. If that's the case, then their three factions would be at a disadvantage. He Ming and the others couldn't help but start pondering their own countermeasures. Their first thought was naturally also to form alliances amongst themselves. But this notion was quickly dismissed by some of them. If the ally were the Skybreaking Sword sect, they would naturally find it favorable. The reputation of Yu Jian himself has always been excellent, possessing the demeanor of a gentleman, never going back on his word once promised. Allied with him, cooperation could proceed without worry, with no fear of betrayal. But with the other factions, it's less certain, as no one could assure that they wouldn't be backstabbed at a crucial moment, leading to total destruction. Yet without alliances, if opportunities arise, it would be hard to compete against Yu Jian and his group. While He Ming and others were contemplating their strategies, several more disturbances came from afar. As they looked back, they saw several more flying boats approaching. In the subsequent time, strong forces sporadically continued to arrive near the silent extinction star sea. Months later, dozens of forces had gathered outside the silent extinction star sea. So many forces are actually eager to enter the secret realm? At the edge of dozens of flying boats, within a golden flying boat engraved with a dragon's head. An old man, looking at the flying boats ahead, exuding strong auras, appeared a bit troubled. This isn't possible. The leader, a middle-aged man attired in a purple dragon robe, shook his head. Initially, only 18 tokens allowing entry into the secret realm were ever circulated. Even accounting for those that vanished without trace, at most only 12 or 13 forces here possess tokens. The other forces are either seeking partnerships or simply trying to fish in troubled waters. It's impossible that every one of them holds a token. Just like the Hung family, aren't they trying to collaborate with us through the 13th Elder? Realization dawned upon the old man as he listened. Yes, the secret realm left behind by the Taoist immortal. Even forces without tokens would try to venture in by any means. Among these forces, most need not concern us, as they aren't a match for us of the immortal clan. Our main focus should remain on the Skybreaking Sword sect, Black and White Temple, Netherworld Palace, Pavilion of the Enchanting Immortal, and Kongming sect, those formidable entities. Continued the middle-aged man in the purple dragon robe. He gazed afar at the leading flying boats. These major sects are their immortal clan's primary rivals for seizing fortune this time. Indeed, Yu Jian, He Ming, Tu Shan, Peach Fairy, Qing Xii. These individuals are all top-tier talents of the primordial spirit 8th tribulation, incredibly formidable to contend with. The old man also appeared solemn, although they had anticipated the lineup dispatched by these forces. Still, it didn't imply that they felt little pressure facing such renowned top-tier primordial spirits in the surrounding immortal domains. For it must be understood that, due to certain special reasons, existences beyond the primordial spirit are prohibited from taking action in the cosmos. 9 tribulations primordial spirits, too, are mostly in secluded cultivation, striving to breach realms above the primordial spirit, seldom appearing in public. Therefore, the 8th tribulation's primordial spirit is generally considered the strongest power roaming the starry sky. And Yu Jian and his allies, backed by powerful sects, with deep roots and numerous hidden strengths, are regarded as the most daunting among the 8 tribulation's primordial spirits. Even someone like the middle-aged man in the purple dragon robe isn't confident enough to surpass them. Luckily, I listened to the advice of Old 13 this time and allied with the Hung clan. With their secret assistance, I'm not afraid of these few sect forces. As long as we obtain the treasure from the secret realm of the return to glory, then our clan has hope for a resurgence. The middle-aged man in the purple dragon robe thought quietly in his heart. Watching the flying boats of great powers like the sky-breaking sword sect take the most important positions, other forces slightly yield in reverence. To say he has no thoughts about it is impossible. There was a time when their immortal clan was also so glorious that sects avoided and clans submitted wherever they went. But now they can only stay at the outermost positions, reduced to a marginal force. How could he not feel humiliated? Soon, as long as we seize that treasure, our clan has hope to restore its glory. The middle-aged man's fist in the purple dragon robe is tightly clenched under his sleeve, his gaze firm. Isn't that flying dragon ship over there the spiritual artifact flying boat of the great Origin Immortal clan? At this moment, He Ming from Netherworld Palace glanced around and then seemed to realize upon seeing the flying dragon ship at the edge. Great Origin Immortal clan? And on the flying boat beside him, Peach Fairy pondered for a moment before reacting. Is Senior Brother He Ming referring to the Great Origin Immortal clan that once dominated the Great Origin Immortal domain, was prosperous for a time, and then declined? Yes, I remember that there doesn't seem to be any existence above primordial spirit within the Great Origin Immortal clan now. Yet they dare to venture into the secret realm of the return to glory. Does that mean they have entry tokens? He Ming nodded. Being descendants of doubt-transforming immortals, they naturally have some inherent strengths. Peach Fairy chuckled. But seeing the Great Origin Immortal clan wanting to enter the secret realm, seems like they are hoping to acquire chances to revive their ancestors' glory. Without sufficient strength, even obtaining the treasure doesn't necessarily mean they can hold onto it. He Ming said faintly. With no existence above primordial spirit within their clan, even if they obtain the treasure, someone might attack them the next day to seize it forcefully. The strong prey on the weak, it's a law of nature, and if it truly happens, it's the calamity the Great Origin Immortal clan ought to experience. Peach Fairy said, Well then, Senior Brother He Ming, just a fallen clan, why care about it? You just mentioned wanting to form an alliance with us. Was that true? Certainly He Ming, never speak falsely. Then I am truly flattered. How does Senior Brother want to cooperate? Peach Fairy smiled seductively. It's simple. The two immediately began discussing cooperation matters. Of course, they communicated through primordial spirit transmission, so no one knows what they talked about or what kind of cooperation they reached. There are still several years until the secret realm of the return to glory truly surfaces. No one knows how the dozens of powerful forces here will intersect and secretly ally during this period. In short, behind the seemingly calm facade, countless undercurrents are surging. Compared to these undercurrents in the starry sky, Lu Qing's hometown world appears much more peaceful. Since Lu Qing returned, killed those 4 late-stage Golden Core realm demons, and left a batch of talismans for Holy Mountain. Holy Mountain started a major purge of demon cultivators wreaking havoc across the land. In 2 to 3 years, under the cooperation of Holy Mountain and various sect forces, almost all demon cultivators were eradicated. The vast majority were killed, and the few remaining are lurking in the shadows, living like rats, not daring to show themselves. Thus, the land returned to clarity, with the traces of demons hard to find. And in this tranquility, Lu Qing spent 2 years in closed-door meditation within the Jade Cave. This day, Lu Qing finally opened his eyes, awakening slowly from the deepest state of meditation. I didn't expect that comprehending the mistaken divine skill would be much more arduous than great strength. But fortunately, it eventually succeeded. Lu Qing's eyes held a sigh. Initially, when he went into seclusion, he thought comprehending mistaken would be like great strength, taking just a month or two to succeed and elevate it to the level of great divine power. However, during the actual comprehension, he realized he had underestimated the task. Comprehending the illusion path, surprisingly, was much harder than the power Dao. The inner Dao charm was vast as the sea, exceedingly complex, with many illusions and falsehoods mixed within. If the false Dao charm was mistaken for real, it could lead down the wrong path, making it difficult to turn back. Lu Qing at the beginning almost fell for it. Had he not reacted in time, he would have gone astray. That lesson made him understand that the illusion path, true to its name, is unpredictable. Without caution, it is possible to harm oneself and eliminate the divine power seed of mistaken cultivated to small divine power perfection, losing this divine power entirely. This led Lu Qing to become unprecedentedly earnest, fully immersing himself in the comprehension of the Tao. Even so, with his superpower, it still took him 2 years to sift through countless indistinguishable Tao charms, sorting out a clear path, grasping a thread of spirit light opportunity, elevating mistaken from the level of small divine power to great divine power. The difficulty of elevating mistaken this time is primarily due to my deeper accumulation in the path of divine soul than in the physical body. Lu Qing's mind gained insight, beginning to reflect. The path of divine soul is always mysterious. Even primordial spirit great powers find it hard to comprehend thoroughly. Thus, cultivation methods related to the pure path of divine soul are relatively scarce in the cultivation world. Lu Qing's physical body accumulation, under the opportunities left by the Witch Clan, is much deeper than on the path of divine soul. Combined with the special nature of the illusion path, it took much more time than the previous comprehension. Fortunately, all this effort was indeed worthwhile. Although the process was somewhat unexpected, he ultimately elevated mistaken smoothly to the level of great divine power. A turn of his palm, a miniature world suddenly appeared in Lu Qing's hand. Within, there were mountains, rivers, vast forests, seas, glaciers, and plains. If enlarged, the contours of these mountains and rivers astonishingly mirrored those of his real hometown world. With mistaken at the great divine power level, it is no longer a simple illusion technique. It can already interfere with reality, making the distinction between real and unreal difficult. Once cultivated to a higher level, it can even turn illusion into reality, transforming false into true. At that point, it might even be possible to evolve an actual world. Lu Qing felt various insights from the world in his palm. With mistaken at the great divine power level, it's no longer limited to creating illusions within the divine souls of living creatures. It can even lay out large-scale illusions in reality that are indistinguishably true. Cultivators caught within, if their Tao heart is unsteady, could become lost, unable to discern reality from illusion. Once his cultivation reaches a sufficient height, Lu Qing could potentially turn illusion into reality, false into true, transforming material. Of course, achieving that level remains far beyond his current realm and power. He estimates that even at the perfection level of great divine power, it might not be achievable. At the very least, the divine skills level must be elevated to supreme divine power to potentially accomplish it. As for evolving a world, that remains an incredibly distant goal. Even if he breaks through to a realm above primordial spirit in the future, he doubts whether it can be achieved. Ever since achieving the primordial spirit, Lu Qing has been busy either traveling, deducing cultivation techniques, or comprehending divine skills, refining elixirs, and the like. The time truly devoted to focus cultivation using the perfect primordial spirit technique is exceptionally little. But this does not mean that his cultivation has stagnated. In fact, his perfect primordial spirit technique has always been in operation. As Lu Qing has integrated many powerful cultivation techniques and painstakingly deduced them with superpowers as his main cultivation technique. Perfect primordial spirit technique is by no means such a simple cultivation technique. Even without actively cultivating, it can constantly operate, enhancing Lu Qing's cultivation. Plus, his life-bound magical treasure, the Yin-Yang Five Elements Gourd, also assists him in constantly refining spirit stones and purifying mana. Indeed, the quality of spiritual energy in his hometown world truly cannot meet Lu Qing's current cultivation needs. However, he possesses a vast amount of spirit stones, allowing him to freely absorb the spiritual charm within those stones for daily cultivation. In fact, Lu Qing routinely stores many spirit stones within the Yin-Yang Five Elements Gourd for cultivation. This way, although the efficiency does not match the high intensity of retreating into a spirit gathering array specifically for focused cultivation, it benefits from being continuous, constantly enhancing his cultivation without affecting other tasks. Consequently, although he hasn't undertaken extended retreat cultivation over the years, his cultivation accumulation has grown increasingly profound. Moreover, these past 2 years, continuously comprehending the illusion path, has invisibly elevated his primordial spirit realm significantly. Now that Mistaken has broken through to a great divine skill, his cultivation has reached a limit, allowing him to undergo his first primordial spirit tribulation. Primordial spirit tribulation. Lu Qing sensed the latent aura of tribulation. He could feel that he could trigger it at any moment if he wished. At that time, the legendary primordial spirit tribulation would descend. If he overcomes it, he would become a tribulation-crossing primordial spirit. However, Lu Qing didn't rush to breakthrough but instead took out an elixir that calms the mind and spirits to ingest, meditated again, and began to regulate his breathing. 2 years of constant comprehension of the path has significantly exhausted his heart and spirit. Breaking through in this state is evidently quite a risky act. Only by restoring his state to its peak, then breaking through is the most secure approach. With the help of the elixir, coupled with Lu Qing's own incredible recovery ability, it took merely a few days for him to fully restore his heart and spirit to their utmost peak condition. Without much hesitation, Lu Qing waved his hand, scattering numerous middle-grade spirit stones, arranging a spirit-gathering array. As the rushing spiritual charm was aroused, Lu Qing also started to induce the latent aura of tribulation. The next moment, an unimaginable might suddenly appeared in the quiet room. An unimaginable aura of tribulation enveloped Lu Qing entirely, attempting to corrode and destroy his body. Simultaneously, endless tribulation chi was also generated from within him, working in and outside in tandem to entirely destroy Lu Qing. Instantaneously, black blood flowed from Lu Qing's nasal cavity. His hair turned white and gray at a visibly fast speed. The skin all over his body began to wrinkle, turning dull and lusterless. A scent of decay and ruin emanated from within him. The whole person aged rapidly at an incredible speed. Even his mana started to exude a sense of dead air, become poorly functional. So this is the primordial spirit tribulation, the legendary heaven and man's 5 declines tribulation, truly terrifying. Lu Qing sensed his body's changes with some astonishment. The primordial spirit realm's primordial spirit tribulation isn't like a breakthrough to a major realm that requires enduring the heavenly tribulation's baptism. It is a much more dreadful, strange tribulation known as heaven and man's 5 declines tribulation. This tribulation disregards defenses. Once initiated, it appears immediately on the tribulation crosser. No matter how powerful a protective Dharma treasure might be, it cannot avert the descent of heaven and man's 5 declines. Vast amounts of dead air and tribulation chi will simultaneously appear within and outside the tribulation crosser's body, attempting to extinguish and destroy them. Even apart from a handful of exotic treasures related to life, most magical treasures cannot aid in crossing the heaven and man's 5 declines tribulation. The tribulation crosser mostly relies on their accumulated foundational depth to endure the tribulation. Survive it and it's proved beyond measure. Cultivation rises sharply. Lifespan increases greatly. Failing to do so, both the physical body and primordial spirit deteriorates entirely, turning into skeletal remains with no chance of survival. It is a terrifying and frightful tribulation of which all in the primordial spirit realm feel immense reverence. For this reason, Most in the primordial spirit realm lacking confidence in themselves rarely choose to undergo the primordial spirit tribulation early. Most painstakingly cultivate, continually accumulating their foundational depth. Then when their lifespan runs short, they choose to gamble, undergo tribulation and breakthrough. Only those truly confident geniuses might opt to cross tribulations ahead, continually breaking through. And for someone like Lu Qing, who achieved the primordial spirit only over a decade ago and is undergoing their first primordial spirit tribulation now, it is even rarer in the world. In any entire immortal domain, it would be hard to find someone with such madness. Of course, Lu Qing dares to undergo tribulation due to his absolute confidence. The style he has cultivated to a perfect primordial spirit. If he hesitates even in facing the first primordial spirit tribulation, how could he ever talk of striving for the heights and covet those realms beyond the primordial spirit? In fact, this first primordial spirit tribulation indeed cannot really bother Lu Qing. Despite the overwhelming influx of dead air and tribulation chi from the heaven and man's 5 declines attempting to erode his physical body and primordial spirit into decay. Nonetheless, Lu Qing's foundation depth is simply too robust. The vitality within him is unimaginably abundant. Even the 5 tribulation demon king, in terms of the power of upgrading, cannot compare to him. Though the dead tribulation chi continuously wears down Lu Qing's physical body and primordial spirit, backed by the powerful vitality within him, his regeneration speed is even faster. Thus, Lu Qing appeared terrifying, seemingly on the verge of decay and death at any moment. In reality, his foundation wasn't significantly damaged. 1 hour passed this way, and the massive dead tribulation chi began to slowly dissipate, while the vitality within Lu Qing remained overwhelmingly abundant. Eventually, as the last trace of tribulation chi retreated, it symbolized Lu Qing's first primordial spirit tribulation was safely completed without danger. The moment he crossed the tribulation, the power of the Great Way within Lu Qing underwent yet another transformation. A vast amount of energy, imbued with the essence of Tao, emerged from the void, engulfing Lu Qing's body. Immediately, Lu Qing felt his physical body, mana, and primordial spirit all beginning to transform. After a long while, as the power of the Great Way gradually faded away, Lu Qing sensed that his physical body, mana, and primordial spirit had all strengthened considerably, his power surging once more. Excellent, with my current strength, even without resorting to divine skills or the true witch body, merely using ordinary Taoist skills, few 5 tribulation primordial spirits could rival me. Lu Qing sensed the changes in his power. A satisfied smile appeared. This is the advantage of having a deep foundation. Each breakthrough results in a surge in power, instantly leaving those enemies who could once rival him behind, incapable of posing any threats anymore. However, in the primordial spirit realm, before and after the 5 tribulations are 2 different worlds. Power is not the only measure of strength. Carelessness cannot be afforded. Although this breakthrough led to a surge in Lu Qing's power, he secretly reminded himself not to become arrogant because of it. The 9 tribulations of primordial spirit, the first 5 mostly belong to growth in power. Whenever a tribulation is crossed, a cultivator's power and longevity significantly increase. But after the 5 tribulations, things change. With each tribulation crossed, besides the growth in power and longevity, a cultivator also gains some extraordinary abilities. For instance, the mysterious ability to control the space law is one example. Some abilities are granted by a cultivator's talent and the cultivation technique practiced. In short, every primordial spirit great power after 5 tribulations is a rarity among men, extremely difficult to deal with. Even though Lu Qing presently possessed unrivaled strength and many trump cards, when facing opponents of that level, caution is necessary. Of course, these thoughts are just Lu Qing's self-reminders. Currently, he resides in his hometown world, extremely remote, hard to find. Across the world, apart from him, there are no other primordial spirit realms. Thus, no one can pose any threat to him at all. These are just precautions Lu Qing takes, reminding himself of the truth that beyond the mountains, there are higher ones. Yet, safety issues need not be worried. but the deduction of the perfected primordial spirit technique cannot be delayed any longer. After a moment of reflection, Lu Qing began to ponder another matter. That's regarding the subsequent deduction of the perfected primordial spirit technique. Back in the Witch Clan's trial secret realm, although he smoothly deduced the perfected primordial spirit technique, due to time constraints, he only deduced the first tribulations technique. The subsequent techniques remained undeduced due to lack of time. Now that he has crossed the first primordial spirit tribulation, the deduction of the perfected primordial spirit technique's subsequent techniques is imminent. Otherwise, given his cultivation speed, he will soon face a situation where there is no technique to cultivate. Just in time, the level of 2 divine skills has been upgraded. The coming days should be focused on deducing the perfected primordial spirit technique. Lu Qing finally decided in his heart. However, he didn't rush to start deducing the technique immediately but planned to rest for a while before retreating again. This time in comprehending the illusion path, upgrading the rank of Mistaken's divine skills took a full 2 years, exceeding his expectations. Plus, having just crossed the primordial spirit tribulation. Thus, he decided to relax his heart and spirit before beginning the next retreat. Getting up to leave the quiet room, Lu Qing saw Little Li crouching outside the door, watching anxiously in this direction, its tail swaying uneasily. Upon seeing Lu Qing come out, its eyes immediately brightened, and it jumped up to him. "Ah Qing, you've come out, what was that just now?" It turns out Little Li sensed the fearsome power of the Great Way, and the chilling dead tribulation chi during Lu Qing's tribulation earlier, worriedly coming to await outside Lu Qing's retreat room. Now seeing him emerged, it was relieved and promptly asked, "Just now, my cultivation made a breakthrough, causing changes in the heaven and earth rules. What, were you scared?" Lu Qing reached out to stroke the fur on Little Li, comforting him. But upon hearing his words, Little Li's eyes widened. "Cultivation breakthrough. Ah Qing, were you crossing the primordial spirit tribulation just now?" "Yes. I've just crossed the first primordial spirit tribulation." Lu Qing nodded slightly, not denying. So quickly crossing the first primordial spirit tribulation, Little Li was somewhat dumbfounded. Although it always knew Ah Qing's cultivation speed was extremely fast, it was still shocked. After all, how many years have passed since Lu Qing last crossed the tribulation and achieved the primordial spirit? Even it hasn't broken through to step into the 7th transition of Golden Core. Yet, Ah Qing has already crossed the first primordial spirit tribulation and become a first tribulation great power? Little Li felt quite incredulous. How could it seem that, after entering the primordial spirit realm, Ah Qing's cultivation speed not only hasn't slowed down but instead has accelerated? This is unbearable. "Ah Qing, now that you're out of retreat?" After a while, Little Li finally came to its senses and asked. "Yes, we've been in retreat for over 2 years here. Little Yen probably misses us. We'll return home for a while." "Indeed. It's been so long. If we don't return soon, Little Yen will start complaining again." Little Li also nodded repeatedly. But it secretly decided, once back home, it needs to train even harder. Otherwise, the gap between it and Ah Qing will truly keep widening. At the very least, it should quickly step into the 7th transition of Golden Core. Lu Qing took Little Li away from the Jade Cave, returning to the village. 2 years have passed. The village remains as peaceful as before, without any major changes. Little Yen and Han Lingshuang were very happy to see Lu Qing back. Though during these 2+ years, they had mostly been in retreat, not feeling much of the passing of time. Seeing Lu Qing come out of retreat, however, still delighted them greatly. Lu Qing noticed after 2 years, Little Yen and Han Lingshuang's cultivation had made substantial progress. Little Yan's cultivation had reached the peak of the 6th transition of Golden Core, just 1 step away from the 7th transition realm. Han Lingshuang's realm had reached the peak of the 3rd transition of Golden Core, probably not long before breaking through to the 4th transition. After all, the elixirs Lu Qing had given them back then weren't ordinary ones. Take any random pill out there, and it would have cultivators in the Golden Core realm fighting over it. Even in the heavenly origin great world, they could be sold as excellent spirit pills for many spirit stones. Thankfully, little Yen and the others listened to Lu Qing's advice, not overly relying on the power of elixirs. Otherwise, their cultivation might not even be as stable as it is now. Understanding this, Lu Qing felt somewhat satisfied. This demonstrates that little Yen and the others possess enough restraint in cultivation, and his crafted elixirs weren't wasted. After returning to the village, Lu Qing's life became leisurely again, fishing daily and spending time with little Yen and the others while relaxing his heart and spirit. After more than 10 days, he retreated again, starting to deduce the subsequent techniques of the perfected primordial spirit technique. Time flies and cultivation is timeless. Lu Qing's seclusion did not draw any attention. The people in the village were already accustomed to Lu Qing and little Yen often disappearing into seclusion for months or even years. After all, everyone knew that Lu Qing and others were now immortals. Immortal cultivation is, of course, calculated in years. Moreover, some of the younger generation in the village have also embarked on the path of cultivation, understanding that for incomprehensible beings like Lu Qing, a single seclusion could last a long while. In the blink of an eye, 5 years passed. In the quiet room of the Jade Cave, Lu Qing slowly opened his eyes, with a galaxy swirling within, reflecting boundless wisdom. I finally deduced the technique for the 5th tribulation. Lu Qing sighed slightly in his heart. In these 5 years, apart from occasionally going out for relaxation and spending time with little Yen and the others, he had devoted most of his time to deducing the perfect primordial spirit technique. Now that 5 years have passed, he has finally deduced the subsequent tribulations of the perfect primordial spirit technique and directly deduced it up to the 5th tribulation. However, after reaching the 5th tribulation, Lu Qing also sensed a bottleneck. The techniques beyond the 5th tribulation involve the mysterious and unfathomable space law. The difficulty of deduction increased 1,000-fold, and even with assistance, Lu Qing found it obscure and progress slow. He knew that it wasn't the limitations of his superpower but his realm being too low. The realms beyond the primordial spirit realm were like the distant view from the mountain's foot, shrouded in mist, making deduction naturally difficult. That's fine, the techniques up to the 5th tribulation are enough for me to cultivate for quite a while. Once I achieve the 5th tribulation primordial spirit, I will have a clearer understanding of further realms, and further deductions will be much easier, like water following its course. Lu Qing did not force it and immediately made a decision. He sensed his current cultivation level. During these 5 years of seclusion and deduction, he had not actively cultivated but relied on the Yin-Yang 5-element gourd and the cultivation technique's auto-operation for passive growth. Yet even so, his cultivation still made considerable progress. He had now advanced considerably within the 1st tribulation of the primordial spirit, and the small success realm was not too far away. However, after sensing, Lu Qing frowned. In these 5 years, a considerable amount of spirit stones had been refined by the Yin-Yang 5-element gourd. Although he still had a large amount of spirit stones in hand, he estimated, given the current consumption rate, he would be troubled by spirit stones again at most by the time he reached the 3rd or 4th tribulation of the primordial spirit. Indeed, in the path of cultivation, wealth, law, companions, and land, spirit stones are always insufficient. Lu Qing sighed. Before returning, he had obtained so many spirit stones, thinking they would support his cultivation for a long time. But now it seems, given his cultivation speed, it's a bit precarious. More importantly, as his cultivation progresses, he feels that the spiritual charm of middle-grade spirit stones is becoming less effective for him. After all, the grade of his primordial spirit power is too high, and every slight elevation in cultivation consumes a massive amount of spiritual charm. When his cultivation advances a few more levels, middle-grade spirit stones might even become weak in effect for him. No wonder at the auction in Tianshu City of the Heavenly Origin Great World, a mysterious powerful individual would auction off a high-grade spirit artifact and stipulated accepting only top-grade spirit stone transactions. No doubt that mysterious powerful individual, having reached an extremely high realm in cultivation, needed top-grade spirit stones to break through. After pondering for a while, Lu Qing suddenly waved his hand, scattering numerous spirit stones, setting up a spirit gathering array to continue cultivating. Now that the perfect primordial spirit technique has been deduced to its current limit, the following time can be devoted entirely to cultivation. Ultimately, the world still respects power. With his foundation, if he undergoes one or two more primordial spirit tribulations, his strength will soar, and even if he returns to the heavenly origin great world, few can pose a threat to him. By then, venturing into the cosmos would allow him to go wherever he wishes, and earning spirit stones would not be difficult. As Lu Qing operated the cultivation technique, cultivating with all his might, a large amount of spiritual charm was absorbed by him, rapidly converted into his primordial spirit power under the dual refinement of the perfect primordial spirit technique and the yin-yang five-element gourd, nourishing his physical body and primordial spirit. His cultivation began to enhance at a staggering speed. As Lu Qing began full-force cultivation, beyond the stars, the silent extinction star C, which had been exuding ripples, finally showed further changes. The originally dead silent galaxy, like a revival, began to slowly rotate. A more terrifying ripple erupted from the center. Such a movement naturally immediately drew the attention of multiple surrounding forces. The silent extinction star C has begun to change? Is the Guisu secret realm about to truly emerge? Wasn't it supposed to emerge in another 2 or 3 years? Why is it early? It's likely not immediately emerging, but it's getting close. The numerous elite cultivators on the dozens of enormous flying boats stationed outside the silent extinction star C were all awakened, engaging in lively exchanges. According to records in the ancient texts, such changes indicate that the Guisu secret realm will soon truly emerge. The silent extinction star C has changed earlier than expected. On the flying boat of the skybreaking sword sect, Yu Jian in white attire also turned serious. According to the Jade Scroll given to him by the Swordmaster, once the silent extinction star C begins to change, the secret realm of Guisu will truly emerge within a year at most. Brother Yu Jian, it seems we need to prepare in advance. On another flying boat, Qing Xii communicated through primordial spirit transmission. Indeed, once the secret realm of Guisu truly emerges, this place will likely become chaotic. Our two sects should look out for each other and see if we can rush in at the first opportunity. All right, little sister is precisely here with that in mind. Qing Xii nodded. The secret realm of Guisu is actually going to emerge early? On the black flying boat on the other side, He Ming was equally surprised. Brother He Ming, don't forget about our agreement. Peach Fairy's charming voice appeared in He Ming's mind. Rest assured, since everyone has sworn the Heart Demon Oath, I naturally won't break the alliance. He Ming replied indifferently. Then little sister will fully rely on you, brother He Ming. Clan leader, the secret realm of Guisu is about to emerge. On the flying dragon ship, an elder spoke to the middle-aged man in the purple dragon robe. Indeed, after years of patience, we've finally awaited the opportunity to restore our clan's glory. Even as composed as the middle-aged man in the purple dragon robe, his fingers couldn't help but tremble slightly as he stared ahead at the rotating Xinghe. As for the reactions on the other flying boats, they varied. Some were excited, some expectant, while others had cold eyes, plotting something unknowable. In short, every force had its own plans. Suddenly, the originally peaceful starry sky became shrouded in a mysterious atmosphere. The intensified waves from the silent extinction star C were spreading with unimaginable speed. Before long, they spanned across several surrounding immortal domains, detected by countless experts. Is it time to start? In the secret realm of the skybreaking sword sect, an elder in gray robes looked up at the sky atop Sword Walking Mountain, silently contemplating. The time for emergence has finally come. I wonder if He Ming will be able to seize the opportunities. In a mysterious land, a strange voice emanated from a black palace. Guisu, Guisu, the secret realm left by Taoist immortal emerges. Who knows what turmoil it will stir? These times may once again turn chaotic. In a lush, quiet valley, a white-haired woman holding a green bamboo flower basket gazed absent-mindedly at the sky. Haha, it's finally emerging. If Tu Shan and the others can seize the mystery of the Tao, then our black and white temple will truly rise to dominate all forces. In the depths of the void, a Taoist in a black and white temple laughed heartily. What's happening? In his homeland world, Lu Qing, who was fully cultivating, suddenly awoke from his meditation. He sensed the mysterious waves that, descending from the heavens, had suddenly intensified dozens of times, feeling quite uncertain. These suddenly intensified waves, could it be that the so-called secret realm of Guisu is preparing to emerge? After a brief thought, Lu Qing speculated on the situation. Over the years, these mysterious waves from beyond the heavens had always been present. Gradually, he had become accustomed to them. Yet unexpectedly today, they intensified abruptly, combining with the information previously obtained from the void-flying boat. He immediately understood that the secret realm of Guisu, long brewing, was about to truly emerge. Of course, even if the secret realm emerges, it has nothing to do with him. Not to mention, he doesn't even know where the so-called Guisu secret realm is located. Even if he knew the location, he wouldn't plan to go. After brewing for so many years, it's clear that outside the secret realm of Guisu, countless experts would be lurking. Given his current cultivation, trying to snatch food from the tiger's mouth is too risky, virtually impossible, and not necessary to take such a risk. Nevertheless, the waves just now also caused the void-flying boat inside the Chenkuan 1 Qi bag to tremble. So Lu Qing had to pay attention. He projected his heart and spirit into the Chenkuan 1 Qi bag and saw the void-flying boat gently trembling. But that was all, with no additional changes. He observed for a while, understanding that the sudden intensification of waves had caused the boat to respond. Seeing no further changes, he stopped worrying. So after expressing his sigh, Lu Qing settled his mind and continued cultivation. The waves emitted by the secret realm of Guisu penetrated everything, utterly impossible to shield against. Lu Qing could only pretend they didn't exist and continue his cultivation. Time slowly passed, with Lu Qing's full cultivation and the refinement of a large amount of middle-grade spirit stones. Half a year later, his cultivation advanced substantially, smoothly reaching the realm of small success in the first tribulation. He estimated that with this cultivation progress and a sufficient supply of spirit stones, he should be able to cross the second primordial spirit tribulation in about 10 years. This is an incredibly terrifying cultivation speed. It must be noted, theoretically, with the incredible foundation Lu Qing had, advancing even slightly was extremely difficult, requiring vast resources. Yet, despite these circumstances, he maintained such a terrifying cultivation speed. If word got out, it could shock the entire starry sky. Only Lu Qing knew what was happening. The reason he managed to achieve all this is primarily due to his self-created, perfect primordial spirit technique and his life-bound magical treasure, the Yin-Yang 5-element gourd. The perfect primordial spirit technique needs no further explanation. He created it by fusing numerous primordial spirit realm techniques with several supreme-level mysterious techniques. It is the most suitable and perfect technique to fully utilize his unbelievable talent. Thus, the perfect primordial spirit technique is extremely efficient in absorbing and refining spiritual charm. The Yin-Yang 5-element gourd is equally extraordinary. This life-bound magical treasure of Lu Qing absorbed the Yin and Yang Qi during his tribulation, becoming more magical after reformation. Although its current grade is only a low-grade spirit artifact, its capabilities in refining spiritual charm and purifying mana have undergone a transformative change. The combination of the two enables Lu Qing, in a short time, to refine a large amount of spiritual charm, turning it into his own cultivation. Enabling his cultivation speed to increase even after achieving primordial spirit. Instead of slowing down, it started to show signs of accelerating. Having reached small success in the first tribulation in his cultivation, Lu Qing did not continue but got up and left the quiet room. This time his seclusion had not been short, so it was time to take a break. Outside, Lu Qing saw Little Li diligently cultivating. He didn't disturb it but left the jade cave alone, planning to walk outside and relax. Outside the valley, breathing in the air filled with vitality and looking at the lush scenery, Lu Qing immediately felt invigorated and relaxed. Although at his level, the so-called vitality of the outside air offered no help. Being in seclusion for so long, going out for a walk still felt completely different. At least for a while, he felt his heart and spirit relax significantly. His fatigue from continuous cultivation also alleviated considerably. Ah Qing, you came out without calling me. After wandering outside for a while, a black figure suddenly soared up, landing on his shoulder. Mouth grumbling, who else could it be but little Li? I saw you were deeply engrossed in cultivation, so I didn't disturb you. How about it, have you made a breakthrough recently? Lu Qing sensed little Li's aura and smiled. Yes, I just made a breakthrough last month. Now my cultivation has reached the 7th transition of the golden core. Ah Qing, am I amazing? Little Li immediately boasted. Of course you're amazing. Lu Qing praised without reservation. Sensing little Li's breakthrough while consolidating its cultivation was exactly why he hadn't disturbed it. Unexpectedly, the little one came out to find him. Upon hearing Lu Qing's praise, little Li's ears trembled, grinning with eyes half closed, exuding immense joy. All right, since you're also out, let's take a trip home. Great. Let's see if little Yan has come out. Little Li replied happily, just as Lu Qing was taking little Li back to the village. Far away in the center of the silent extinction star sea, an immensely powerful wave suddenly erupted. At the same time, the void-flying boat within the Chenquan One Chi bag also trembled violently. Lu Qing, who was flying in the air with little Li, sensed the disturbance and his expression changed. However, before he could figure out what was happening, a stream of light had already rushed out from the Chenquan One Chi bag, enveloping both him and little Li together. Then it tore through space, plunging them into the endless void. Even with Lu Qing's current strength, he wasn't able to break free immediately. By the time he reacted, he was already deep within the void, surrounded by chaotic spatial flows. Ah Qing, what's going on? What happened? Little Li clung tightly to Lu Qing's arm, speaking with some panic. It's all right. I roughly know what's happening. Lu Qing gently patted little Li, comforting it. But in truth, he was also quite surprised in his heart. The stream of light just now was naturally the void-flying boat taking form. It was just that Lu Qing had not expected that this treasure, which he had controlled for so long, would suddenly exhibit such a change, catching him off guard. It seems that this exotic treasure, with its essence of a Dao artifact, indeed harbors secrets he has yet to uncover. Looking at the endless chaotic spatial flows around him, Lu Qing knew that even if he could break free from the light's embrace now, it would be to no avail. Without comprehending space rules and without the void-flying boat, he would immediately become lost in the endless void. Fortunately, he could feel that the light enveloping him posed no threat to him. The transformation of the void-flying boat seemed to be a response to some kind of summons, a change driven by instinct, and not a result of it developing spiritual wisdom to deliberately harm him. Did some change occur in that secret realm of the returned ruins, causing the transformation of the void-flying boat? Lu Qing speculated in his mind. This was the only reason he could think of. The void-flying boat is a component of a powerful Dao artifact in the secret realm of the returned ruins. The reason for this startling change might be that the Dao artifact is summoning it. It was just unexpected that, despite the vast distance and even with Lu Qing suppressing the void-flying boat in the Chenquan One Chi bag, it still couldn't stop its transformation, even dragging him along for the ride. This is really troublesome. Lu Qing felt helpless. Originally, he had no intentions whatsoever regarding that so-called secret realm of the returned ruins. Who knew that due to a single oversight, he would end up caught in it after all? Thinking about potentially facing who knows how many strong practitioners, Lu Qing's heart tightened. The secret realm of the returned ruins has been sending ripples across the entire starry sky for years, and undoubtedly countless powerful beings are watching it now. While his strength has grown considerably over the years, to the point where even the primordial spirit 5 tribulations are not his match, he still has no confidence in faring well against those truly ancient monsters. Little Li, go hide in the leaving fire tripod for now. Lu Qing immediately made a decision. Ah Qing, where's the void-flying boat taking us? Little Li clutched Lu Qing's arm and asked. It's hard to determine right now. I'll explain once we get to wherever it is. Lu Qing replied solemnly. Then you be careful, Ah Qing. Seeing the seriousness on Lu Qing's face, Little Li hesitated not, nodding immediately. It knew that if even Ah Qing was taking this so seriously, the place the void-flying boat was taking them must be extraordinary. With its current strength, it might not be able to assist Ah Qing and could even become a burden. Don't worry, nothing will happen. Seeing Little Li agree, Lu Qing ruffled its head and stored it into the leaving fire tripod. Immediately, the aura surrounding him shifted continuously, soon becoming elusive and unfathomable. His whole person seemed to be shrouded in layers of mist, real and unreal, making it impossible for anyone to see clearly. Even his appearance transformed into one he had never shown before. His complexion was fair, hair long, exuding nobility akin to a scion of a noble family. Even his aura simulated the level of the primordial spirit Five Tribulations, appearing quite extraordinary. The reason he didn't transform to a realm above the Five Tribulations is firstly because Lu Qing's realm was ultimately insufficient to simulate levels far beyond his capability. Secondly, realms beyond the Five Tribulations involve comprehension of rules, an area where Lu Qing is quite lacking. Moreover, he hasn't seen many experts beyond the Five Tribulations. Only the Elder and the Demon Lord he encountered briefly in the trial space of the Netherworld Palace. But those encounters were too fleeting to grasp anything substantial. If he forcibly transformed to simulate such experts, it would likely be easy for others to notice flaws. After completing his transformation, Lu Qing put on an elegant magic robe adorned with star array runes. Instantly, both his form and aura changed completely. Even Little Yen and his master might have difficulty recognizing him at first glance. With everything prepared, Lu Qing looked ahead, quietly awaiting the situation to unfold, while the void-flying boat carried Lu Qing through the endless void. On the other side, outside the silent extinction star sea, many powerful beings were also filled with excitement. Because just now, the fluctuations within the silent extinction star sea increased by thousands of times. At the same time, the entire star array began to change further. Amidst earth-shattering commotion, at the very center of the sea of stars, a massive whirlpool slowly emerged. In the center of the whirlpool, the faint shadow of an immortal palace floated up and down. The immortal palace seemed small, but in truth, it was hidden within layer upon layer of uncountable spaces. The true form is feared to be even more vast than a small world. Seeing the phantom of the immortal palace appear, all the powerful beings became even more excited. That's the Ruins Immortal Palace, the rumored residence of the doubt-transforming immortal who created the secret realm of ruins. The Sex Annals once had ancestors speculate that the Ruins Immortal Palace itself might be an extremely powerful Tao artifact. In the history of the Ruins' secret realm, it has emerged twice, and this time is the third. It is said that during the first two times the Ruins' secret realm emerged, those who entered only reached some peripheral areas of the Immortal Palace. No one has ever truly entered the core of the Immortal Palace. Could this time be different and break the record? The array of powerful beings was in fervent discussion, gazing excitedly at the phantom of the Immortal Palace before them. It has finally emerged. On the flying boat of the sky-breaking sword sect, Yu Jian, dressed in white, stood proudly at the very front, gazing ahead. Please be careful, Brother Yu Jian, Qing 12's voice sounded. The same to you, junior sister, Yu Jian responded quietly. Ha ha! It's finally starting. On the black and white flying boat, Demon Tushan laughed heartily. This time, the fortune and treasure of the Ruins' secret realm must belong to our black and white temple. I've said beforehand, whoever dares to provoke our black and white temple will be killed without mercy. Such arrogant talk. He Ming's voice rang. One might wrongly assume you've already unified the stars, but contention for treasure depends on strength, not boastful words. Indeed, Brother Tushan, Though I'm just a humble lady, I too am not willing to yield. Peach Fairy's charming voice echoed. Very well, let's see whose strength is truly superior. Why not compete a bit and see who enters the secret realm first? Though Demon Tushan was retorted, he did not become enraged. Instead, his fighting spirit grew stronger. Facing his overpowering aura, Yu Jian and the others were naturally not to be outdone, unleashing their powerful auras to counter. Thus, even before the opening of the secret realm, the strongest factions were already at loggerheads. This caused the other forces behind them to involuntarily step back slightly. They had no choice. Compared to these major sects, their foundation was still lacking. Currently, not even the shadow of the treasure has been seen. It's too early to compete with these major sects. It has finally appeared, remember. Our primary goal this time is the annex marked in the ancestral secret records. Everything else is temporarily secondary. On the flying dragon ship, the middle-aged man in the purple dragon robe spoke solemnly to his clansmen behind him. Yes, clan leader. The several clansmen responded in unison. The middle-aged man in the purple dragon robe gazed at the Star River formation ahead, yet his mind flashed with the ancestral document. According to ancestral records, though unremarkable, an annex on the periphery of the Immortal Palace harbors not insignificant fortune. For it is an elixir hall, containing the supreme treasure pill left by the Tao-transforming immortal. If only he could obtain the treasure pill and consume it, he'd have the confidence to directly break through to the Nine Tribulations realm. Then those like Yu Jian, He Ming, and Demon Tushan would no longer be a match for him. The fortunes and treasures within the Immortal Palace must surely belong to their immortal clan. The Star River formation continued to rotate, the phantom of the Immortal Palace at its center still afloat, yet to be fully stable. Though everyone's hearts were extremely excited, they could only wait patiently. The fluctuation of the ruin's secret realm has reached this depth of the void? Carried by the void flying boat, rapidly traversing the endless void, Lu Qing's heart and spirit suddenly twitched. He had once again sensed that familiar fluctuation of the ruin's secret realm, instantly surprised. Unbelievably, he could still sense that fluctuation from this deep within layers of void. But soon Lu Qing noticed an anomaly. No, it's not the fluctuation of the ruin's secret realm reaching deep into the void, but the void-flying boat is traversing upward. Sensing the increasingly strong and clear fluctuation, Lu Qing immediately understood that the destination was near, promptly focusing his spirit to cope with any possible upcoming situation. Soon, he sensed the gigantic Star River formation outside, along with the numerous powerful auras nearby. Rumble! Almost simultaneously, a space-rocking fluctuation startled, causing the spinning Star River formation of the silent extinction star C to finally come to a halt. That phantom of the Immortal Palace too stabilized, gently afloat in the vortex's depths. Simultaneously, those forces holding amulets sensed a wave of fluctuation from their amulets. The formation is stable. The amulets signal permission to enter. All powerful beings holding amulets instantly felt great joy. The flying boats at the forefront instantly erupted with potent momentum, eager to rush in first. But just then, an unforeseen event occurred. From the starry sky ahead, a spatial surge emerged, and a small silver flying boat flew out from the depths of the void. It promptly turned into a streak of light, plunging into the silent extinction star C. It unexpectedly raced ahead of all the forces, heading toward the ruin's secret realm. This unexpected scene directly left everyone stunned. No one anticipated that amidst so many powerful beings, someone would dare so boldly as to hide in shadows and beat them to the formation? What's more, amid all these powerful beings, none detected this lurking presence ahead of time. After a brief daze came astonishment. Especially He Ming and Demon Tushan, they were exceptionally enraged. Moments ago, they spoke grandly, claiming to see who could enter the secret realm first. Who'd have thought? In a blink, a rogue unknown would snatch ahead. This left the usually proud and confident individuals finding it hard to stomach. Let's go in. I must see who's the fool with the audacity to make a mockery of us. Demon Tushan, unable to bear it, immediately piloted the flying boat toward the Star River formation. He simultaneously activated his amulet, and at once, a peculiar wave surged from the amulet, enveloping the entire flying boat. Not to be outdone, the other families engaged, prompting their flying boats simultaneously, following inside, while activating their amulets. Under the amulet's wave coverage, as the flying boats entered the Star River formation, the clusters of black space whirlwinds ahead parted to create a path, allowing passage. Someone hidden in shadows has slipped ahead. Who could it be? The middle-aged man in the purple dragon robe on the flying dragon ship was equally astonished. He hadn't expected someone could lurk in shadows, unnamed by so many powerful beings present. He immediately considered those rumor-missing, elusive amulets. Could it be a mysterious force who had acquired an amulet and remained hidden until now to reveal itself? But seeing that the sky-breaking sword sect and others had already entered the formation, the middle-aged man in the purple dragon robe had no time to ponder further, likewise piloting his flying boat forward. Yet it was then, a flying boat horizontally blocked the flying dragon ship, halting it. Soon, two more flu boats sped ahead, occupying its left and right sides, forming a pincer attack. Hung family, what is the meaning of this? The middle-aged man in the purple dragon robe's face shifted. He recognized the emblem on the opposite flying boat, immediately grasping their origin. It's another vast family of force within the immortal domain. And the flying boats on either side belong to forces within the same immortal domain. The Yuan Immortal Clan. I heard you possess amulets to enter the ruins' secret realm. Hand them over now or we'll destroy this flying boat, leaving all of you to perish in the starry void. A faint voice drifted from the opposing flying boat. Attempting to rob our amulets? The man in the purple robe was instantly furious. You want to seize the token in my hand? The middle-aged man in the purple dragon robe had eyes full of ice. The clansmen behind him also had faces full of anger. These guys dared to plunder them? That's right, your Dayuan Immortal Clan has long been in decline. You're not fit to hold the token to enter the secret realm. If you don't want to die, hand over the token. Otherwise, this starry sky will be your grave. The voice from the red flying boat opposite spoke coldly. Voices from the other two flying boats echoed. Hand over the token, or we'll leave you without a grave. Nearby forces watching this scene immediately showed expressions of enjoyment. Some even had similar thoughts. Most of the forces gathered here actually didn't have tokens. They came here partly to witness what the legendary secret realm, which appears once every 100,000 years, is like, and partly to seek collaboration with forces that have tokens, to see if they can pay some price to enter the secret realm together. Some even harbored dark intentions, planning to kill and seize treasures from those forces once they came out of the secret realm. Presently, those lingering outside were mostly such forces. Seeing the Dayuan Immortal Clan being blocked, many forces present had peculiar thoughts arise. If I remember correctly, the Dayuan Immortal Clan has long been in decline, unable to even hold their own territory, fragmented. Within the clan, there's not even a single strong person above the primordial spirit realm. They're barely managing to govern a great world now, a truly impoverished situation. Such descendants of a fallen immortal clan probably wouldn't have anyone strong to stand up for them even if something happened. Good, very good. The middle-aged man in the purple dragon robe laughed furiously. Seeing that most sects with tokens had entered the Star River formation, while he was blocked outside, and more malice was emerging from all around. The middle-aged man in the purple dragon robe immediately understood that if he didn't show some means now, these people, who'd eat someone without spitting out the bones, would truly skin them alive and swallow them whole. At once, a terrifying aura rose from the middle-aged man in the purple dragon robe. He used the array power of the flying boat to unleash a massive purple magic palm, striking forward. How bold! Seems like your Dayuan Immortal Clan is inviting destruction. The strong man in the red flying boat ahead saw the middle-aged man's action and his gaze turned icy. But in the next moment his expression changed. Because the incoming purple magic palm was overwhelmingly powerful, far beyond his expectations. How is it possible? Have you reached the 9 tribulations of primordial spirit? The powerful figure on the red flying boat was shocked, because he sensed that the power of the purple magic palm had faintly surpassed the level of the 8 tribulations. In alarm, he quickly gathered all the power on his side's flying boat to unleash a fiery red magic palm to meet the attack. Boom! 2 giant magic palms, as large as meteors, collided in the starry sky, instantly unleashing endless power. However, the fiery red magic palm was far outmatched. It only resisted for a few moments before being shattered by the purple giant palm, which then slammed onto the red flying boat opposite. Immediately, the entire flying boat was flipped over, shattered, and large fragments scattered far into the starry sky. With just one move, the middle-aged man in the purple dragon robe heavily damaged the red flying boat opposite. Its internal arrays were shattered countless times, and whether it could still traverse the starry sky became a question. The strong men inside the boat were all in tumult, and they were all severely injured. This strike stunned everyone, especially the cry from the strong man inside the red flying boat earlier, shouting the 9 tribulations of primordial spirit, which left everyone else in shock. A 9 tribulations strongman. This is a supreme powerhouse that surpasses everyone present. Could such a strongman have emerged from the Dayuan immortal clan? Humph. Consider yourselves lucky. The middle-aged man in the purple dragon robe did not pursue further after striking the red flying boat away. Completely destroying a star sky flying boat and killing the primordial spirit realm strongman inside is not an easy task. He had just relied on a treasure from his clan to unleash such a frightening strike. However, that treasure has limited uses and cannot be used excessively now. Besides, they have already been delayed too long, and the forces with tokens have entered the big array long ago. If they delay any longer, the treasures inside might get seized first. So, even though hatred burned within him, the middle-aged man in the purple dragon robe suppressed his killing intent. He steered the flying dragon ship towards the Star River formation. The priority now is to enter the secret realm first. However, in his mind, he has already noted down the few forces that obstructed him earlier. When they obtain opportunities and their immortal clan rises again in the future, he will take these forces as examples and avenge today's humiliation at the first chance. Seeing the flying dragon ship fly towards the big array, now no force dared to obstruct it. They knew that was a 9 tribulations of primordial spirit. Without the emergence of a great power, a 9 tribulations of primordial spirit is an untouchable existence, and no one dared to provoke such a terrifying presence. Of course, some were doubtful because they felt that although the purple magic palm was powerful, it didn't have the unparalleled crushing power of a 9 tribulations of primordial spirit. Even so, no one dared to touch the nerves of the Dayuan immortal clan again.